Tonight we have an abject lesson from Generation Simp. I used to be able to say that I wish these young men had some fathers going on out here. You all know I stopped saying that years ago because I looked around out here at the so-called fathers and I'm like, oh, that's how these young men got as messed up as they are today. So they need some real men in their lives. But quite frankly, real men are in short supply. Women too, but we're focusing on the men tonight because this is an abject lesson for all of you to learn from. There's a young man, he does music and some other things, named DGG. He was in a relationship with one Halle Bailey, who we've all seen this slow rolling car wreck coming now for years. And after she gets pregnant, after she gives birth a year later, we are Splitsville. Well, I gotta tell you all right now, in some cases you might feel it's like, oh, that's unfortunate there, but especially for the young man in question. But hey, I want all of y'all to be aware here for any of you who are like, oh, he better watch his neck. Oh, don't worry, Mr. DDG. Why, he assures us all that he's got it covered. At least that's what he was saying there before.
DDG definitely trapped Halle with that baby. And here's
a little TikTok creator fund. CPMs is not that high for y'all to be sitting on here talking for 2 minutes about me. You got 2 kids. I looked on your Instagram, I looked on your TikTok, everything. You got 2 kids with no baby daddy. But you worry about me.
So as you all can see, he's got matters firmly in hand. He's got the situation firmly and securely under control. Yeah, I mean, he's got a kid by this chick now, but don't worry. The rest of you need to worry about yourselves. Don't worry about it. The situation is in hand. And yeah, that's kind of what you got to do when you find yourself in a situation like this because, dude, you in bad trouble right now. You're in bad shape. You're in bad shape because you don't know it, you don't get it. The simple fact of the matter is that you are more successful than the female you were with. She is more famous. You are more successful. Or at least up until last year, you were. That is no longer the case. Now you will be the next little struggle dude out here, hoping you can stay one step ahead of your chick and the law. Or former chick. But then again, we got to talk about this single mother situation because I've warned you all here before, especially young, naive men who don't know any better. They walk right up. I mean, this guy is at the beginning, or at least what was the beginning of his earning potential, and he walks straight off into a single mom. He's like, well, ain't no single moms for me. Let me go make one. And off he goes. Now, you got to understand, for deficient males, they think they're marking their territory. Oh, anybody else who gets this after me, they got to deal with the baby. So dense fellas sit up here. They're insecure. They make permanent attachments because that makes them feel more secure. Well, I train Rector, so we going down together. And you got to understand, no, dumb dense dudes, that's not the way this works. First of all, he's talking real confident this whole time. That's your first clue that he doesn't have a damn clue what he's doing. He's talking real confident, and that's because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know any better because he ain't been through the system. He hasn't had a vindictive chick drag his ass. He thinks that's everybody else. See, he's got a few million followers, and he really thinks that translates to value. Well, take a look what I got a bunch of followers here. Well, that's what she really wants is the shine and the swag. And yeah, that's what she really wants as long as she's with you. She wants that as long as she's with you. And that tells you how naive and clueless he is. He is allowing how she treated him when she liked him to fool him into thinking that that's how she's going to keep treating him now that she doesn't like him. So he can talk big talk in front of the public all he wants to, but you trying to save face. I don't care how sprung you think she was before. Every baby daddy in America will sing that song to you.
And deal with it, nigga.
He's telling the rest of us that doesn't apply. He's telling the rest of us he has it under control and that's just the rest of y'all. that ain't him. He's got some special ability that everybody else doesn't have, and him and the baby mama we cool, we gonna stay cool. You know how I know this? Because even the Breakfast Club had put out their video talking about that. The young man thought that, he was doing a great job. And like I say, when you allow yourself to be deceived, it doesn't end very well.
Speaking of taking breaks right now, Holly Bailey and DDG, you guys remember we reported that DDG came out and made the statement that they were not together right now, that they are family, they're going to, effectively co-parent. Well, since then, he has a podcast called Not an Ordinary Podcast, and
we're not together, but we're a family. Yeah, he still wants to keep a padlock on them draws because, dude, do you hear yourself? Although, that's the reason I wanted to do tonight's broadcast, because this is a warning to all the fellas out there who might deceive themselves otherwise. This is a warning to you. You see, when you tell yourself, if we ain't together no more like that, well, I've moved on. You can't have it both ways. Either you two, once you have a baby, you two are together for the rest of your lives, whether you wish to be or not, because you are still united through this kid, or, we moved on and we do this. You have a bunch of idiotic people out there who try to sell you on nonsense. Both of those statements cannot be accurate. One's true and the other one must be a lie. So which one is it? Once you have a kid with a female, you two is shackled at the ankles the rest of your lives. Or, we can move on. Which one is it? Right now, he wants to have it both ways. That's up until she see you entertaining other females or whatever, or it sinks into her that, it really is over. Because there's avenues and aspects to this that young, naive males don't get. Dude, first of all, to the folks over there on TikTok, he didn't trap her with a baby. What? This is how stupid and silly the internet era is. Talking about males trapping females with babies. When in the history of human biology has a male been able to use a woman's ovaries against her by force? In the United States today, it is legal for a female to use her ovaries against a man by force against his will without his consent, and the courts say she doesn't need your consent. When they say that a woman can take your semen out of a garbage can and impregnate herself, and you aren't in the garbage can, it doesn't belong to anybody. If she impregnates herself, well, the DNA used to belong to you, so now we're going to treat you as if this was a consensual act. You want to talk about a tyrannical government? No, that's what we're literally dealing with here today, is that, your semen is not your property unless a female takes it out of the garbage can and impregnates herself. Now she, against your will, it doesn't have to be consensual. The government will require you to do so. We don't need your consent. Why are they not locking up every DA, every judge, and anybody who goes along with that? Why are they not being locked up? And in my opinion, they should be locked up for the rest of their lives. They should never get out. Psychopaths who get into the judicial system shouldn't be allowed to get out. It's like, let's just keep you. You're in there with the pedophiles and the serial killers. That's where you need to be. But fellas like this don't get it, because she was digging his swag when she liked him, and he thinks that's going to have value for the rest of his days. He thinks that he's going to be, anytime he wants, I can call her anytime I want it, I can get it. She going to be sprung on me, dude. That's not the way it works. The honeymoon is over. Now she's going to move on to the vindictive part, because she got to find somebody to replace you now. He doesn't get it because he's young, he's silly, he's naive, and he doesn't understand that, hey, dude, a female is always digging you until she doesn't. Now, the same magnitude she, quote, loved you, now she's going to funnel that into hating you. A female does not break up with a man because she wants you to do well. She breaks up with you because she hopes that'll be the end of you. When a woman gets pregnant by a man, she's betting all her chips on him. When a female gets pregnant by a man, that's her cashing in all her chips. Dude, she's not happy about the situation right now. He doesn't understand it because he thinks that whether those two are, quote, together or not together, she's going to have the same affinity for him. He doesn't get it because he doesn't want to get it. He wants to believe that he's going to have the same value as a free agent that he did in a relationship, and that's not the way it works. You can't have both worlds, sir. You can't have both worlds. Not at all. So sad to see this happen at the beginning of things. So he's out there trying to explain to folks, oh, don't worry, we're still a family.
Actually, been speaking out a bit just to clear some things up. So following their breakup, fans began to drag him online. Now, this is not something new. They were already dragging DDG. A lot of fans of Halle, they feel like she's a Disney princess. She shouldn't be with him. So he deals with a lot of that online.
Mm-hmm. Disney princess, huh? Disney princess? Uh-huh. Yeah. By the way, what was she doing before The Little Mermaid? I mean, come on. It wasn't like that's where she was discovered. Halle Bailey really been running around better part of a decade now. By the way, so Disney princess, really? Folks talk so silly and stupid nowadays. It is just this real bizarre world of mental instability.
So he got online to address some things, and he talked about the fact that that they are, regardless of what, always going to be family. Let's take a listen.
For a long time, people feel like I didn't belong the industry or the music industry and this and that, especially me being with Halle. She's a superstar. She's the greatest ever. Being around her.
What? This is why I wanted to host tonight's program. That statement right there from DDG. This is the reason I wanted to host this program tonight. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand. He got with a female who's part of a corporate media hype machine, and he bought into the hype. And I'm going to prove it to you. Unequivocally, unquestionably, I'm going to prove it to you. But I'm just showing you off the rip. By the way, he don't get it. He didn't trap her with a baby. He's the dummy got trapped with one. He's the one handcuffed to the roller coaster and going along for the ride. He is. And folks are talking as if he's in control of something. A woman is in control of her ovaries. A woman never, 0% of the time, except in the case of sheer assault, and that's practically none. A woman is always choosing. If she got pregnant, she chose you. That's the one she wants. It doesn't matter what the guy wants. She ain't getting pregnant unless that's what she wants. Nobody wants to take responsibility. When things turn out well, she gets all the credit. When things turn out badly, find the fella and blame him. They're her ovaries. The buck stops there. However, silly as he is, he's trying to clean this up and make it seem like, oh, I slipped and fall, but I meant to do that.
I feel like it made a lot of people side-eye me because they had, she a princess. So they already had their mind set up about her, and they look at me and I don't fit that image. But it's cool. It's a reason why she stayed with me. It's a reason why we had a child together. It's a reason why all of this happened. Like, me and Halle are forever family.
Dropping the clues bombs for DDG.
There's a reason this happened. You mean her leaving, or there's a reason for the breakup? What about that part? Why did that one happen? He's trying to give himself shine through her. Young, naive, unbelievably dense. And of course, here comes Charlemagne the Frog to sit up here and co-sign.
Yeah.
Stay focused, young man. That's the one thing in the conversation that I believe to be very true that he said. Don't forget they still family. He's still the father of that child. That's still the mother of his child. If you think at some point in life those two won't be back together, you're bugging.
Right.
Why the hell would you say something like that, Charlemagne? I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Why would you say that? Why would you say something so outlandish? Not because baby mamas don't go back and sleep with their baby daddies. Not because of that, but because you're giving the false impression everything they gonna be back together. They were never together in the first place. They ain't been married. Together, they were together in bed. That's where they have been, quote, together. They've been together under the sheets. They've been together on a mattress. But then again, when you take a look at Charlemagne's, well, I guess birds of a feather, they were together around each other's toes. They have never been together. They're going to get back together. They didn't get together the first time. So you're sitting here gassing this fella's head up to think what you're trying to tell him is everything's going to be all right. To all my single fathers out there, live or recorded, is it ever all right after that? So it's all going to be smooth sailing? Is what Charlemagne is telling you. How many fellas became single fathers and it wasn't drama immediately after that? Unbelievable, irretrievable amounts of unlimited drama. And Charlemagne is sitting here talking about it's going to be all right. So we're supposed to just ignore the overwhelming tsunami of evidence and everything we see on a daily basis. Listen to Charlemagne, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Y'all be together. This is what their radio station, the YouTube and the Breakfast Club, this is what they're putting out there. Millions of dollars behind them to say an outright cockamamie lie like this. That it's going to be all right. You all know what's coming next. She's a young female who having babies are toys to little immature thoughts like her and her sister. Let's just call it what it is.
And deal with it, nigga.
She was never no Disney princess. What the hell kind of crack this young dude smoking? Never mind, don't answer. She ain't never been that. Ever. She's never been little Miss Sweet Innocent. Her and her sister's claim to fame was that they were going to be the next Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. I'm talking about Beyonce during her slut era, not Beyonce during the early Destiny's Child. That was the whole thing. Remember, Halle Bailey and Chloe Bailey was up next, remember? They're going to sit up here and act like we all don't know what the hell you've been talking about now for the better part of a decade. Now we're supposed to just ignore all that? No, they were supposed to be up next. Before Meg Thee Stallion stepped in the damn way and Cardi B got in the damn way and cut off their shine, Halle Bailey and Chloe Bailey was supposed to be up next. Remember? Well, they were the little proteges. They were going to be the little Beyonce proteges. And then it didn't work out. Which brings me to the next part here. Dude, this is how dense, DDG, dense dude generation. This is how dense these little young naive cats are, man. He doesn't know that he's way more poppin' than she is. What? And he don't know it. There's an outrageous amount of career malfeasance out here. Young dumb jackasses don't know it. He doesn't even know it. Well, Jason, how do you know that? I'll prove it to you all right now. Here's a personal challenge to all of you, live or recorded, because young fellas like him who didn't really get plugged into the machine don't understand it. He sees her with Disney and doesn't understand that's being a prospect. He confuses what she's done for what he's done, and it ain't the same thing. All of you right now, listen to me. You can go to Google right now and you can Google Halle Bailey or Chloe Bailey, and then the two deadliest words that you can put behind either one of those young women's names. Album sales. Damn! Oh, you're going to get hit with a bunch of stuff talking about streams and Spotify and ranking on Billboard. But what you're going to find in sparse supply is number of sales. For those of us in our 40s and 50s, a hit album used to be you had to go at least gold. Anything less than that was kind of underwhelming or a failure. And we were used to the days when you had to go platinum for an entire album, not a single. Your whole album had to sell millions of copies. That is not the way of things in the YouTube, Spotify streaming era. These folks out here are getting tens of millions of so-called streams. And today, a hit album is 50,000 copies. What? No, folks. Y'all can go look it up right now. I'm talking about for some of your biggest so-called stars, including Drake. These people, their singles are debuting today with sales of 30 and 40 and 50,000 copies. Ain't nobody hitting 100,000 copies. Don't believe me. Now, I'm talking about sales, not streams now. I'm talking about actual purchases. Folks actually buying the singles and stuff, buying them. Folks, in case y'all didn't know, don't believe me. Go look up all your favorite rappers, all your favorite singers, well, except Taylor Swift. But for the most part, all these folk here on Instagram 24/7, these people on Instagram 24/7 all the time. Yeah, they got plenty of time to be on Instagram 24/7. They're not on tour. After all, wasn't her and her sister complaining about their album sales? Okay. So he's popping more than she is, and he doesn't know it. He's taking a look at Disney. Well, didn't she get signed up with Disney? And I'm telling you all right now, you can go Google it. Streams are worthless. They don't make any money off of streams. Go take a look at the actual sales, which is where your value as a music artist is supposed to come from. Do people like your song enough to actually buy it? Or do they demand to consume it, but they don't think it's actually worth the money to have the highest quality version of it? When folks are in love with a song, they want the highest quality version. They want all the nuances. They want it brought to you exactly the way the artist originally recorded it. That's not what she gets. She don't get that. They took a look at her and said, well, her and her sister are cute enough. We think that the optics are good enough. Let's see if we can make them the next Beyonce. It didn't happen. So then they got together with Disney. Okay, let's see if that will raise her stock. It didn't happen. It hasn't happened. Go check the numbers. Don't believe me. If I'm sitting here lying, then all you got to do is Google it and go prove it. But you don't actually want to go pull those numbers. You don't actually want to go take a look at those. When's the last time you heard about somebody being at a Halle Bailey concert? Damn! I'm not saying it to down anyone. I'm saying to say, hey, pull off the damn rose-colored glasses. Stop talking silly. I'm not going to play make-believe along with you. Let's deal in the real world. Let's take a look at numbers. Dude, she didn't get a baby with you because she was popping. She got one with you, as all females in her position do, an insurance policy, because she knows what her real numbers are. She knows what the real record deal she got is. She knows what her real contract with Disney is. Little Mermaid underperformed. She knows what she's actually getting. You don't. All you know is that, well, the media hype machine, it keeps her famous. Okay, folks, in the internet era, that's how folks are getting, quote, compensated. Everybody's being compensated with fame. Ooh, we'll help you get 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers. You'll get lots of attention. People will recognize you everywhere you go. Okay, and you can't eat that, you can't drink that. But folks are taking that as their compensation. Ooh, I was famous. And nobody's peeking under the hood to check the numbers. They don't even ask about the numbers anymore. Folks talking about they got a new album coming out. I'm doing what I've always done. Let me check them sales. Let me check them sales. And when you go take a look at the album sales, it's abysmal. Look it up. It's post-apocalyptic. You're like, what the hell? How much money can you make off of 50,000 sales? Hell yeah, she got to have a 360 deal. You're damn sure not making any money off music. So yeah, if you want to know the folks who got the 360 deals, hey, okay, well, your music career ain't popping, but we already invested in you to make you famous. Let's see if you can be a movie star. By the way, which one of them was it where the butt cheeks tooted up? Which one was it? Was that Halle or Chloe? I want to say it was Chloe. Just to show if you think what I figured that television. I talked about this before, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Chloe's music career is doing so great that she got to sit there and with her butt cheeks tooted up in the air with doing sex scenes. That's what they got to do. That's how great Chloe's music career is going. Her music career is going so great that you can see her literally butt naked with a dude ramming on cable. That's how great her music career is going. For those of you who know the Weinsteins of the world, it's like, oh, you know, this is the casting couch. And dude talking about superstars. This birds of a feather, this ain't no different. You're the one. You bought the hype. You bought the hype. Neither one of them are stars. They're bad investments that somebody is hoping at some point is eventually going to pay off long term. It's been almost a decade now. And she caught you. Why? Because you were the best she could do. You were the best she could do. Yeah, y'all remember Monsters Ball? When the little black chicks, when it's time to sit you out to pasture, oh, let's get them draws off of you. I'm like, ooh, they hit them early. They got them young. It's already over. So, I mean, you really just got out the gate and you're already naked doing sex scenes. So it's over already? You're done. This over already. Think about that for a few moments. This young man got himself cashed out. He's starstruck because he wants to be with a female who's recognized so he can get shine off of her. He doesn't want to be with an unknown chick and he's the one with the shine. He wants a chick who makes him feel better, that she's recognized. And that's it. A man eater got a hold of him. Now she's got you in a vice. He's sitting up here guaranteeing us that he's not going to end up in child support court. That's what he's trying to tell us. Oh, don't worry. Things will be amicable. Things will be fine. It's never amicable. It's never fine. Who the hell you think you're talking to, dude? Who you fooling? Who is he fooling? The other thing is, hey, bruh, how the hell is this a plus for you? How is getting this chick pregnant a plus for you? These males out here today are as effeminized as the females. It's supposed to be the female who's happy to be having a baby with you. These dudes out here starstruck over chicks. How is that a plus for you, man? If your life is popping, things are going great, you need full mobility. You need full freedom right now to chase that bag, to gather up the resources, to set yourself up for the rest of your damn life. Let me show you what the hell he's setting himself up for. This is his Instagram. Brace yourselves. You want to know how he got himself in this mess? You want to know why the platforms boost guys like this? Because they already know how they're going to liquidate them. You want to know how it happens? Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Here it is. Keep going. You supposed to be champ? Really? Okay. Halo's dad. All right. The fellas out here. Yeah, really? Yeah. This is what he's focused on. Oh, look, my box. Yeah, this is what he's telling himself gives him value. Overgrown adolescence. And instead of him focusing, I get it. Instead of him focusing and staying fully focused and saying, man, I got a rare opportunity. I'm going to exceed all expectations. This is what he's trying to do. Style and profile and, conspicuous consumption. And, take a look at this. And we got some random chicks around here and whatnot. Okay, and meanwhile, this one chick over here got your ass over a barrel now. Here's the issue. Do you all think that Halle Bailey is gonna want to see her baby daddy's life popping without her?
Lie.
This dummy is sitting up here telling the world, we still a family. We're forever family. Let me explain something to you here, dense generation. This picture right here Every baby daddy on this planet recognizes this picture on your screen. Every single father on earth recognizes this picture on the screen. This is a woman who values the baby more than you. This is a woman who got what she came for. She has secured the bag. She's put a handcuff on you just in case that Disney money dries up like the album money dried up. She's got a handcuff on you now. She is holding her meal ticket. As far as she's concerned, she has the courts and the government now to guarantee that she will not fall any further socioeconomically than she currently is. That's the whole point of grabbing the child. The government will, by law, will make sure that she doesn't fall any further than she has. This is as far down the socioeconomic ladder as she will be going. Long as she got a handcuff on you, anytime she wants to enforce it, she can go to court and they're going to dip into your earnings. So she wants you to do well only to the extent that she's not doing well. Okay, but it's a double-edged sword. If you do well and she is doing well also, she's not going to like to see that. If she's doing good, she wants you to be doing bad. And the only time she's okay with you doing well is if she's doing bad, which means that she's going to go after you anyway. Oh, I'm so glad you're doing good while I'm doing bad because now I'm going to hit you up with some more money. Well, damn. You're in a catch-22. You lose either way unless you are seriously trying to tell all of us that a celebrity couple, while we like to see each other doing well and she's fine with me, she looks on Instagram and I got other chicks running around and everything's great. Why, she's fine with that. You know, when you're hearing some clueless, silly person talking to you, it's like, dude, you don't know anything. If you really believe that, you know a lot less. There's most of the men listening to me right now, especially those of you who've been fathers, single fathers in specific, but fathers, period. Every male in here who's had more than 3 girlfriends knows she's not happy unless she thinks you're doing worse than her. Even if she's the one who broke up the relationship. There's where old dude is really clueless about. He's probably telling himself that, well, if she broke off the relationship, I'm good. Dude, that's not the way it works. If you break up with her, the breakup is your fault. And if she breaks up with you, the breakup is your fault. Either which way. If you had just done what I wanted you to do, if you had just done right, which means obey everything I tell you, if you had just done what you were supposed to do, we would still been together. I wouldn't have had to leave if you would just do right, but you wasn't going to do right, so I had to go. He's not gonna listen. He's gonna sit there and talk stupid until the child support hearing happens. He'll talk stupid until then because he can afford to right now. It's young, it's fresh. She got some other things she wants to do right this minute, but just as soon as she gets over it and people are not, here's what happens with single moms. When people are bragging about your kid and talking about how cute your kid is, that's what they live on. They live on attention. So the child has a lot of value to her because, oh, people like how cute my baby is. Every woman in here who's given birth to a child understands that as soon as that little sucker is able to walk, people don't see him as a kid anymore. They don't see him as a baby anymore. They're not cute anymore. They're not a little toy anymore. Now you don't get any more attention. You don't get any more attention. You don't get any more easy attention. You don't get any more kudos. You don't get none of that. Now you don't get the status of the shine you used to get for it. Now the child is a bill. Now the child is not an asset. The child is a liability. That's the issue now. So as soon as she's no longer able to get coos and caws from folk, that's going to be a different matter. That's going to be a different matter. Then she's going to start taking it seriously because now it's a drag. Now it's work. Now it's getting in the way of other things. Once the child starts becoming an interruption and obstruction to other things, now she's going to get angry. Now it's your fault. You saddled me with a kid. There were other opportunities I could have pursued, except you didn't do right. So you stuck me with a kid. And it becomes that. A young man got himself caught up with this. And then bragging to the world about how bright of an idea it is. He has literally taken a look at every other male out there who's done this. And he said, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. This is what happens when little internet famous dudes sit up here and say, oh, don't worry, they'll save them. The audience will save them. The followers will save them. We'll be all right. Okay. They want to believe this. Wayward, listless, irresponsible. This guy just created another single mom, and he's telling all of us that everything's going to be all right. How many times have we heard some overly secure little joke of a guy tell us that one? There's not a single father in America who would sit up here and listen to a dude tell him to reassure him about what the baby mama ain't gonna do. That's what you're saying when you start giving these assurances. You're assuring us all of what your baby mama is not gonna do. We're gonna be a family. Well, that doesn't sound adversarial at all, does it? So you're assuring us that your relationship with her is not going to turn poison and radioactive and that it's going to become adversarial. You're promising us that that's not going to occur. See, reality hasn't caught up with him yet. He doesn't understand. Dude, you the baby daddy now. She has a vested interest and she's emotionally invested in wrecking you now. You don't get it. But she now has a valid interest and an emotional investment in making you miserable. If she gonna take an L, she's gonna make sure everybody takes an L. She's not happy about this. Halle Bailey is not happy about this. She knows damn well that's not gonna work unless she can get this dude to marry her. That's not gonna work. She doesn't want to be yet another bum-ass baby mama out here dragging a bunch of bastard kids. And yet that's where she is. All right. Well, now she's in the unenviable position of trying to pull off a Ciara.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's where she is. Fellas, if I'm telling the truth here tonight, give me the baby emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 2,100 people in here live. But if I'm telling the truth here tonight, fellas, give me the baby emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. Unless I'm offending everybody, in which case we'll wrap things up early because I got stuff to do. But if you agree, hit my likes button for me. Fellas like to sit up here and brag. They like to say things they can't substantiate. They like to put on a brave face because the truth of the matter is he's the one trapped now. This woman is going to raise your child. How? How is she going to raise your child? Here's the other thing. He talking big right now. Of course you're talking big because you're goofy and silly. All that this little square cornball chick trying to be a bad girl. You thought that was all great while you had monopoly rights to them butt cheeks. But, oh, trust me, she gonna be up under another dude within days.
And deal with it, nigga.
While you sitting up here trying to act like you've got some magic wand that she's just going to be in love with and pining for the rest of her life. Bruh, you too young. You don't get it. She's going to be up under another dude within days. She is already right now, as we speak, trying to land a soft place to land. She is trying to get the next dude who going to step up. And to maintain her image and to maintain her status among her failed female following, she's going to have to get another dude so she can tell people, see, I can get another man. Just because I'm a single mom now, that doesn't mean it's over for me. So she's going to have to scramble and get somebody who is willing to be photographed and seen with her in public. And when that happens, folks going to turn around and start clowning DDG. And then and she's going to have to show your baby with another dude. You know, the way that Ciara did with Russell Wilson and Kim Kardashian did with Pete Davidson, remember? Damn! Oh, females is dirty. When females want to get at you, they go dirty. They don't play around. It's like, yeah, nigga, your kids is fair game. They don't play the same game you do. She's going to go off and go try to get the first dude she can just so we can get somebody else to pick this kid up so it looks like, see, I didn't get dropped. I'm not a bum-ass baby mama. I got options. Is he going to be okay with another dude? Because you know the little grimy stuff she does when she didn't have a kid. She's not going to stop now that she's a single mom. She's going to get worse. So all the stuff she was doing with you when she didn't have a kid, that's what she's going to be doing with another dude while she has the baby. Are you still going to be okay with that? You still going to be all right with that? That's okay. That's fine. You can say, oh, sure, that'd be a great thing right there. It's like, okay, every baby daddy says that right until the chick starts doing it. Then he wants to start talking about, you know, that ain't right. That ain't good there, man. Keke Palmer. Why are you doing that with the kid? I don't like that fella around there. Why you picking up my son? Why you doing that? That ain't right, shouty. That ain't right. She train wrecked herself early, so right now it's like, yeah, he's in the honeymoon period because she can't do it this week. As soon as she gets a fella who's not afraid to be photographed in public with her, debut the new dude. And the first thing she's going to have to say is, and he's fine with kids. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough spot to be in. And what it really shows you is how clueless the current generation is in this regard. This young man will go off. He's got millions of dollars of earning potential. And right out of the gate, he squandered it. And what this really illustrates is that that's the kind of guy that the world, the corporations, the internet certainly, they want a weak, clueless beta dude. This is what they want. He doesn't see value in it. He's an overgrown toddler, his damn self. All he can do is make some money off attentioning, but he clears out his own pockets. He clears out his own pockets. He cleans out his own pockets. He's put himself over a barrel. He didn't need anybody else to do it for him. He throws himself over the barrel early. He didn't even give himself a chance to define his life and his existence on his own terms. He shackled himself to a female that he got all the fun out of for a year. 1 year. Tell me, how much of a return on investment can you get in 1 year? What did she do for you and with you that was so great that it was for 1 year, but this will last a lifetime, really? This is a young fella who has been lucky. He hasn't been skilled. He's been lucky. He's going off dealing with little thoughts and little tramps and he's thinking that's cool and stuff. It's like, okay, dude, the bill always comes due. And right now you've lined yourself up for a hell of one. You've lined yourself up for a hell of a bill. This young woman had a whole bunch of corporations and other folk gambling on her paying off. Now she's just a single mom. That's it. They're going to have to write off their losses. They're going to have to write off their losses. How much investment are they going to be able to make in her now? Now that you've sat up here and indulged her with that, how much investment can they make in her now? He just said, no, and she a superstar. Okay. They always say that. They always say that till the bill comes due. I was taking a look at my likes numbers here tonight. I'm offending a lot of people. I know ordinarily I'm offending the single moms and the naive dudes. I'm offending the single moms and the naive dudes tonight. And you know what? That's okay. There's nothing I've said that is untrue or false. There's nothing I've said that is inaccurate. I'm not sitting here breaking news. I'm just the guy who can be bothered to go use Google and say, hey, by the way, if you're going to call her a superstar, I would just like to say, hey, by the way, did anybody go take a look at those numbers and see if she does superstar numbers? I took a look at it. Those ain't superstar numbers. If this fella thinks those are superstar numbers, that shows how gullible and naive he is. Dude, you're the bag. Or at least you were. A man is at the height of his value and the peak of his value when females want to have your baby but can't get it. That's an exclusive product. When the females are pursuing you, that's an exclusive product. Once you have the first bastard kid by the first scalawag, that's it. You're done, man. It's over. You're not an exclusive product anymore. Now, somebody else already got it. Anybody else after this, it'll just be, you're one among many. That's it for you. That's it for you. Your resources are spoken for. At a time where he needs to be investing in himself, now he's going to be investing in a kid and an ex. See, there's the first thing that happens to you right there. You want to know why it is these dudes out here don't have any type of management or mentoring? Hey, fella, you're supposed to be focusing on what you building. How can you invest your time in that if now out of nowhere you got to split your time between what you doing and a kid, and clowns like this go off and go have more than one? Because once they have the first one, he's already taken the hit. He's like, well, what's 2 or 3 more? What's 2 or 3 more? So that's a wrap. They got him early. This is why these companies promote little airhead dudes like this. They don't know any better. Naomi Osaka, we can go down the list. They don't know any better. They get these guys, they don't understand. It's like, dude, your exit date has already been chosen for you. It's already been chosen. Oh, well, I sing, I got songs. Yes, you do. For now. I'm not wishing anything ill on that. What I'm saying is that, by the way, you think that lasts forever? Well, I for your sake, it better. Because most of us in the general public didn't know who he was until this week. I'm not saying he's a nobody. Obviously, he's got something of a following out there, so he certainly does have that. But I'm just saying right now, dude, moves like this, that's not a good look. It alienates people. When folks are saying, oh, he's going to get her pregnant, and then you go off and do silly things like that, it's like, okay, now you're shackled to it too. And he didn't run the numbers. He thought that because she had to deal with Disney for a movie that, oh, she's on the same level as me. I'm like, dude, you ain't looked at the damn paperwork. I want y'all to understand something. There are so many folk out there right now. If you all knew what the hell was really going on, if you look behind the scenes and take a look at the real numbers, y'all just don't know. Most, M-O-S-T, and I'm not breaking news on this, Joe Budden, academics, other folks talk about this. Man, the overwhelming majority of these people, man, they're not making no money at this. They're not making any money at this at all. None. I've been to the places, I've seen the things, I've talked to the folks. I'm just letting y'all know right now, the majority of your so-called Hollywood celebrities broke. Ain't no money coming in. None. If they were on a popular TV show, maybe once upon a time, maybe they're getting some residuals, but that's only like if you were in like the top 5%. So if you were on the Seinfeld show, you're going to get paid the rest of your life. If you were on Seinfeld, if you were on Friends, if you were on the Cosby Show, oh, wait a minute. Never mind. But If you are on a hit television show that's really got good syndication, you're going to get a check for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying it's going to be millions, but you're going to get a comfortable check for the rest of your life. Well, that's great, but that's also the vast minority. That is not the majority. The majority of these folks out here, y'all don't understand. The majority of them, they are relying on other streams of income to the extent they can. For the females, I mean, just think about this for a few moments. We talked about this before. Even from the Cosby Show, they had to go get real jobs, man. They had to go get real jobs. I'm not going to say no names, but Bill was aight till he wasn't. Felicia Rashad didn't have to make no money because she married Ahmad Rashad, remember? She was already an actress. She was already a celebrity, but she also married Ahmad Rashad. So she's going to be all right regardless. And that's what they do. That's their escape policy. Like, hey, just in case NBC don't never give me another dime, let me make sure I secured the bag. She got Ahmad Rashad early, and she's been sitting there ever since. You've been seeing her. You ain't seen him in decades. So these folks y'all think are celebrities and singers and stuff like that, man, that ain't what it is. It really, really isn't. And we're talking about from the old monopoly days of broadcast television and broadcast radio. That's what it was then. That's what it was then. In the digital era, man, it ain't nothing out there now. It's nothing. It's a few folks. They build up these huge, everything has become speculation. In the internet era, everybody is a speculator. The idea is if you can build a big audience, then eventually, hopefully, you'll find something with which to convert them into customers with. Everybody's trying to do that, and there's only a limited supply of folks who can. There's only a limited number who can. And when that runs out, that's it. Most of your OnlyFans chicks are struggling. The ones at the top, they making bank. The other 95% is just like anything else. The other 95% are living on bread and water. Same thing on Instagram. Folks got numbers, ain't got no money. The only people who get mentioned on television or on websites are the top 1%. The other 99% is like, That's what happens. So I want you all to be aware. It's like, yeah, when you see these folks out here, Halle Bailey out of nowhere, she's not doing blockbuster numbers. You can't name a single thing that she's done a million of. Has she sold, show me an album that she sold 1 million copies. Show me a movie that she sold 1 million tickets for. Show me something where she delivers numbers. Her sister got butt booty naked on what? Internet television? Did that make that into a hit show? Think about that for a few moments. Hey, Chloe, look here. We need you to toot that booty naked ass up in the air tonight. They're threatening to cancel us. Well, she made some headlines, but did she make some ratings?
Nigga, please.
Yeah, she got some headlines for it, but by the way, did that make it a hit show? Game of Thrones had naked people on that. You don't know who they are. They didn't need that. It was a hit show that had some naked people. Chloe Bailey is a naked person with a show they're hoping will be a hit. Neither one happened. Yeah, you're hustling backwards. You're doing it wrong. So when you all see these people get their names out there and stuff, I just want y'all to understand the real shame of DDG is that he was a successful person who didn't know what he had. That's why he's off getting rando chicks pregnant, because he doesn't know what he has. He doesn't know the value of it. And he got caught by a man eater who said, yeah, this little silly, naive dude, he doesn't know what he has. He looks up to me. You all know that's a big warning sign. He looks up to me. Okay, well, he looks up to her, all right. He looks up to her. Now he's looking back. Don't worry, it'll be all right. At least that's what he tells himself. It'll be okay. A lot of fellas out there get themselves caught up in what this is showing you, that even among the young fellas today, they have an epidemic where they don't see the man eaters coming. They are so eager and anxious to have something laying next to him. His job was to keep her chasing him until he was ready at a point in his life where he wants to commit to her. He didn't want to do any of that. That's a bad sign. But I hope that this will be an abject lesson for others out there to watch and see. Maybe it'll be something for you to learn from. Maybe you can take a look at his experience and say, by the way, have you been undervaluing what you have? A female is supposed to want to have kids with you. That's fine. Although for most men today, they don't. But if you're a fella she wants to have children with, that's fine. You're supposed to see that as a validation of your value. You're not supposed to be looking for her to validate you. And you're certainly not supposed to give her the ability to attach herself and leech herself to your productivity for the rest of your life. If you were not willing to marry her, that was your reptilian brain trying to tell you something. It was trying to warn you. It was trying to clearly say, hey, she ain't the one. That's what it was trying to tell you. He told his reptilian brain, shut the hell up. Let me grip these butt cheeks and wipe the makeup off. And let me grip these butt cheeks right quick. Okay. Now he's put himself in a position of being protector and provider for a relationship that he'll be making excuses for all the damn time. This will work for other females because there's plenty of other females who will want to, hey, this nigga is treating. Let me see if I can get a baby. All the NFL players and basketball players are taken. So now the little goofy internet dudes are lined up to give away their earnings. They're lined up to throw those away. It takes a lot to do these things. It takes a lot to do these things. And among this generation of males here today, even the most he could think to do with his financial resources is leverage it for a baby. He didn't leverage it for money. He didn't leverage it for status. He didn't leverage it for access. It's like prosperity is wasted on these little fellas. This is why YouTube and these corporations build up little dudes like this. Prosperity is wasted on them. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. All it does is go back to the folks who put it into him. So I guess he's been a good investment in that regard. But prosperity is wasted on them. Prosperity is wasted. It has been a waste. It's just been an absolute waste. The females are going to get more benefit out of him than he got out of himself. Now he's just an insurance policy. And he's telling himself, it'll be fine, it'll be all right. And if, believe me, when things go south and unpleasantness starts occurring, he's going to be quiet. He's not going to say anything at that point. When that starts happening, mark my words, he won't say anything. He's not going to say a word. At that point, it'll just be radio silence. He just won't address it. Not unless something really bad happens. And I'm not wishing that either. I'm just saying, you know what? An ounce of cure is worth a pound of prevention. I'm sorry. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. In his case, it'll be a different matter. However, you all might disagree. Therefore, I'm going ahead and put up the Zoom link for you here. You can go ahead and check that out for us. I do these things so you can be reminded, because every time it turns around, it's usually somebody else. Every time we turn around, it's usually somebody else. And that's what happens today, is fellas try to convince themselves it'll be somebody else. It'll be someone else. And that's not. What it really shows you here is that, yeah, you've had a bunch of fellas raised by a bunch of females, but it also shows you that they don't even have valid males around them anywhere to warn them of anything. They walk out into the world with their chin poked out. I'm saying that because really, when you start working through the mathematics of this, why would you do that? Why would you do that? When you start walking through the mathematics of it, why would you do that? And it's like, okay, simps are valuable. Hey, man, ain't nobody playing nice out here anymore. Simps are valuable. Dudes who are tricking off and throw away their money. You're valuable to a female population that is the most coddled population in human history. You're valuable. That's it. Anytime they want to, they can get both their financial and their emotional darker urges met. Simps are valuable. Well, as long as the simp has value. They're valuable. You're a resource. You can be used. You're helpful. For a time. Just as long as you don't get too successful. Take a look at Ciara. Was Ciara happy when Future kept his thing pushing? No. As soon as he did that, oh, hell no. Seriously. Okay, in the chat room, Susie Q. I need you to go ahead and give me a call up on Zoom. She has a lot to say. So we're going to give her a couple of minutes to go ahead and give us a call here on Zoom. So Susie Q, the vegan beauty. Since she has a lot to say here, we'll be definitely glad to see that. We'll go ahead and give her a couple of minutes here to go ahead and hit us up on Zoom. She's got 2 minutes. I feel that is a fair amount of time. In the meantime here, let me go ahead and hit up Zoom. Let me get Elijah. Brother Elijah is on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, good evening, big brother Jason. How you doing?
All right, brother Elijah's on Zoom. What's on your mind?
Hey, brother. It's funny. It's funny that you're speaking about the Bailey sisters. I remember when them sisters did an album not that long ago, and people was clowning them because it flopped. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what is so valuable about these young girls? I like the fact they're natural. I guess I can say that, but they're not no, like how you mentioned earlier, they're not no Beyonce, they're not no Ciara. That those was, to their credit, those was built women. These women, they're young, corny, they're flat. They're not going nowhere. And I'm sorry to say, I'm 40 years old. I feel sorry for this young brother, what he's about to endure. I really do, because it hits different when somebody a lot younger than you, they had their whole life ahead of them. And now this, because he met a predatory female, now his life basically has ended and his image has ended with it.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, definitely this is why it's imperative that as men we have these kind of conversations, because their fathers aren't doing it.
Yes, sir.
Their fathers aren't doing it. It's just one of those things where these fellas sit up here and they get coddled for that. And here's another issue. It's a bigger problem for someone like a DDG. It's a bigger problem for someone like him. Because in some regards, I sympathize with him. In some regard, I sympathize with him. Because I want y'all to think about this for a few moments. So he's, however old he is here, it looks like he's in his 20s. He's got millions of followers in an era where that actually has value, whether or not they're customers, whether or not they give a damn whether you get hit by a Greyhound bus tonight.
Yes, sir.
You know, that has value to them. And here's the issue. Right now in America, you're in a period of inflation. Housing prices have never been higher. It used to be that as long as you didn't live in New York City and Los Angeles, you were in an affordable city. Today, every state has at least one and usually two unaffordable cities.
Yes, sir.
The cost of cars has never been higher. A $50,000 car used to be the starting price for luxury cars. Now it's just the starting price for a car.
Yes, sir.
And when you consider all those things, what that means is that most of the males around DDG are struggling. Follow me.
Yes,
Think
sir.
about this for a few moments. Most of the dudes around him is struggling. We already know the females, but most of the guys around him are struggling. So he's surrounded by a bunch of chicks who are looking to get what they can get. But he's also surrounded by a bunch of males looking to see what they can get. What I'm telling you is that, do you think any of those people are going to be honest with him? First of all, assuming they even know. But do you think any of them are going to be honest with him? Are they going to tell him the truth if they see something that doesn't look very good? Is anybody going to say a negative word to him? Is anyone going to challenge his thoughts, his feelings? Are any of the fellas around him going to do that? No. He's the only one who's got anything. And everybody is there to get whatever they can get. So he doesn't really have anybody around him who is not afraid to offend him. He needs somebody around him who's going to tell him the truth. And gonna say, hey, dude, you messing up. This chick ain't right. Hey, don't get that broad pregnant, man. What we doing? He needs some dudes around him who are not afraid to lose him as a contact, so they can just say, hey, man, I gotta keep it straight with you because I'm on codes. It's like, I can't lie to you. Bro, you moving all kinds of funny. I'm just letting you know, hey, you can do whatever you doing, but this don't turn out well. He needs some fellas around here who are going to abide by the G code, and he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. All he's got is a bunch of glad-handing, butt-kissing, gold-digging groupies around him. And no one will tell him, assuming that any of them even know, but even if they do, they're like, hey, man, look, let me get as much as I can out of him until he wrecks himself. Because they didn't come to help him have a better life. They came to see what they can get out of him. So everybody wants to hoard themselves. So he doesn't have anybody who's going to be real with him. He doesn't have anybody who's going to tell him otherwise. And then you have Charlemagne the Frog and the rest of these clowns sitting up here egging him on. Well, yeah, because they're not paying for it. So instead of somebody looking out for his best interests, you've got everybody egging him on to indulge his darkest urges. So
Yes,
I do kind of sympathize for him for a little bit because I know he doesn't have anybody around him telling him the truth. He doesn't have anybody around him telling him don't. He doesn't have anybody around him telling him that's dumb. He doesn't have anybody around here trying to warn him. See, when you have a father or father figure in your life, that when we say that, we're saying is your dad ain't afraid to call it out for what it is. He's not afraid to offend your little ass. If you moving right, he's going to say something. If you moving wrong, he's going to call it for what it is. He doesn't have that. Most of these fellows out here don't have that at all.
Yes, sir.
At all. And now you've given him tremendous amounts of money and fame, which is power to these kids today. You've given a young man who can't be told no, you've given him relative power. And the only thing he can do with that is destroy himself.
Yes, sir. I got one question though, because this is there's lessons to be learned from here. Will it help a lot of these men? You know, I understand, you know, guys like to do their thing with the women. Sex is great. I hear with them all the time, and that's great. But if you're gonna make a grown ass man move like this, would it help if, hey, to keep yourself out of this man's courtroom, would it just help to just, if you're going to impregnate her, put the ring on the finger first?
To a degree, it would if you make that a requirement.
Yes,
you
sir.
see, if we told him, hey, bro, the way it is, if you're not, a family starts with a man and a woman, another woman and a bunch of kids. You're not playing house with her. You're putting yourself on the hook to the system.
Yes, sir.
He's sitting up here acting as, oh, well, we love each other, so we don't move like that. Okay, dude. Every female says that until she wants to get an advantage over you. Every female says that till she wants the upper hand. Then as soon as you ain't doing what she wants, or if she feels like you got the upper hand, oh, well, I can go to the system and now I got the upper hand. So that's the whole point of us saying, okay, don't put yourself in this position unless you're sure. If you're not marrying her, what you're saying is you're not sure. Okay, well,
Yes,
you need to listen to that voice. When it was time for him to get his little old record deal or his little YouTube deal or whatever these other things are he's got, yeah, he didn't move like that. He signed on the dotted line. So you did that for your money, but you're not doing that for her. Well, yeah. So what you've demonstrated is that when you actually are sure about something, you'll move.
Yes, sir.
You're not sure about this. That's why you ain't moving. But so she was just like, yeah, he's not sure, but he's weak. He's weak for females. He's weak for validation. So I can go ahead and wrangle him. And it's either because, well, that'll get him over the finish line, or this is my insurance policy against my own career not working. And that's where he's at now.
Yes, sir.
He's a chick's insurance policy, and he's not even really attached to her like that. He had his chance to prove he was. He showed what it really was. And when she starts losing opportunities because now she has to juggle kids, when she starts losing opportunities, she's going to blame him.
Of course.
He doesn't think that's going to happen either. When it does, believe me, he'll be the most shocked person. We did this. Okay. No, when she doesn't get what she wants, it'll be you did this.
Yes, sir. Hey, big brother, I'm going to land my plane. Thank you for tonight's broadcast. Excellent as usual.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Yeah, like I say, I mean, it used to be you could do that. It used to be, these fellas out here, it's dangerous, and I should know. I was there. I can speak on what he's going through because I was there. I know what it's like to be a young man. In my case, I was in my early 20s. If he's in his late 20s, that's a different matter. That's even worse because he should have had enough time to get ready. But I was in my early 20s. I know what it's like to have a bunch of people around you and nobody's telling you no, especially the females. Fellas, females love you when you winning. That's just the bottom line. Okay, but you cannot get it twisted or get confused. Yeah, when you winning, everybody's cooperative until they don't get what they want. So don't sit up here and deceive yourself that, well, the way she's acting when you winning, that is what it is. No, that's not what it is. Go do some things she doesn't like. Go leave her on the outside looking in. Make her sacrifice. Now you'll find out that's how she feels when she gets angry. If you're not doing what she wants. Oh, don't worry. It'll work out. It's okay. Making a permanent attachment when you didn't even want to give her your name. You didn't want to commit to her. There's your first sign. Okay, let's see. We got Elliot here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Elliot?
What's going on? I'm from Memphis, and man, this broadcast is major in a lot of ways. And you said something a couple of years ago that I wrote down, and it goes back to what you're talking about tonight. And it was, companies, politics, everybody has a vested interest to lie to women. It's it's a profit center to lie to women. And what happens is you got all that, the media swirling around, everything is big up in women. And a lot of guys, their confidence is shrinking and they're not staying the course. They don't really believe in themselves. And there's not enough guys out here to cheer them on and say, hey, brother, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Stay the course, be consistent. Because at the end, in the wash, once you continue to stay consistent, that shines through. And DDG is another example of what you said. His girlfriend had the big Disney corporation. So that looks like she's been backed by a big corporation like she is. But you're thinking that's like the end all be all. Like you can never really be a leader behind that. But the truth is, like you said, the truth is, if you stay consistent, you'll really see the truth. The women are not going to be honest with you until they get older.
Or until they feel they don't have any leverage.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a benefit, they have an incentive to lie to you. Or you make you believe whatever in the world you want to believe. But as soon as you're no longer of a benefit, when a man doesn't have use, that's when the world tells you what they really think of you. Like, you can be funny and humorous, but you're otherwise not useful. Well, folks will acknowledge you're funny and humorous, though. It's like, okay, he's funny, he ain't got much to offer, but he's funny. If you're a man who's got nothing, but that's when the world lets you know what they really think. Hey, dude, you're funny, but that's it. You're humorous, but that's all. So, yeah, people let a man who's not useful know what they really think of him. When your usefulness is run out, nobody is hurting themselves to offer you time, offer you money, offer you a place. They're not trying to do that. Also, you say you're from Memphis, so I got to give it up, Finesse 2 times. I got to keep reminding folk about that. I got to give it up, Finesse 2 times. And those it don't sound kind of funny when I remind folk about this, but Finesse 2 times, an NBA young boy. And I know I can't. I'm not going to disrespect the boot, but I got to give it to Finesse 2 times. I got to give it to him. When he was going back and forth with NBA young boy, got upset because apparently Finesse might have been talking to his chick or his former chick, and Finesse look, Memphis is the land of pimps. It's the land of pimps. It is what it is between Memphis and Mississippi. It is what it is. I respect it. For those of us from the South, we know that's Memphis pedigree. It is what it is.
No doubt.
Memphis is the land of pimping. Well, Finesse just laid it on him. He said, look here, fella. He said, look here, young boy. I said, I ain't disrespecting them, but when the hoe ready to go, the hoe ready to go.
And deal with it, nigga.
And that's what he said. He said, look, dude, when the hoe ready to go, she ready to go.
Or like we say in Memphis, it's 2 things I ain't never seen: a UFO and a hoe that won't go.
All day. And that's a lesson these fellas right here. This idea that, you got some mystical, magical fairy dust and your swag is on 1 million and you can just do X, Y, Z. It's like, man, if you don't have solid people around you and if you don't know why she's there, here's how you know that he shouldn't have been doing this. Is not just by the results of this right here. If you ask, why are you 2 together? If he tells you we love each other, it's okay. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. You don't have a relationship for love, because can you even define what that is? That's not the reason you do that. But you also don't do it because it's some dependency either. You're supposed to be able to say what is the value that she brings to you and what is the value that you bring to her. If y'all talking about love, which really means we vibing. Okay, well, y'all too young for vibing to be something that bonds you. You're vibing until you're not.
Right.
Oh, look, because look what he said. When she a superstar, okay, what you trying to say is she successful, you successful, she lit, you lit. It's like, okay, well, we all see what this is. Yeah, you're lit until you're not, or until you get jealous of each other, or until she sees you try to get lit with another chick, and you like, well, you're trying to test your options. It's like, okay, well, it's not going to happen. And this is where he is now, and the hoe is ready to go now.
Or like you said before, that a lot of these chicks just want a vanity pet. There's something to take pictures with, and it's to be it's like a pet. And if you don't like they say, like my pastor said a long time ago in the sermon, and again it was some dope advice. Like in the movie in Alice in Wonderland, when they was walking down the aisle, they're walking down the path, and it was a split in the road, right? And the Cheshire Cat appeared, and the Cheshire Cat was playing games and was like, "Well, where are you trying to go?" And Alice said, "Well, I don't know." And he said, "Well, any road will get you there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there."
That's a priceless piece of advice right there. Because here's the real issue: if you don't know where you're going, What that really means is that it really gets you there, but what also means is that you're already there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I'm going. Then you're already at your destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy. Well, I'm saying that because I'm glad you brought it up. It's very easy to make a person comfortable when you already think you're at your destination.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure why you're with this female. Oh, well, you're already at your destination. Well, we'll figure it out. Is that before or after you get her pregnant? So now you're going to tell me you're going to figure it out after you get her pregnant. Now, brother, you from the single mother capital of America.
Yeah.
Niggas get caught like that every day in Memphis.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing and assuring you that he got the hoe under control. Everything fine. She digging it. Ain't going to be no trouble. And it's like, dude,
pregnant.
it never turns out well because it can't. Because the real issue is, okay, you get her pregnant, you get a kid. Now what usually happens is the fella starts kicking his work ethic into overdrive because now he got to take care of this kid too. It's like, dude, okay, well, now you're making more money.
Mm-hmm.
You think she's cool with that? You think she's all right with that because all she sees now is, well, I'll be damned, this nigga could double his output. He just wasn't going to do it for me. He'll do it for a baby, but he won't do it for me. She's like, oh, hell no, nigga, we both going to take an L. Oh, you gonna break bread. You gonna do it. You know how that goes. Or worse, you get her pregnant and then you go get another chick. And you go make more money.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, she coming.
That's the worst thing you can do to a woman is level up after you leave her. Like, that drives them crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I could write a book on that one. But I've never gotten anybody pregnant, so that much has worked out well. And that's why I can tell these young fellas here, it's like, okay, I've seen all this stuff. I see how bad it can get. Don't get them pregnant because you can't walk away from that. Right. Every time she gets a bee up her bonnet, she's going to yank that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she gets angry about how things went with you and her, she's going to yank that kid.
Mm-hmm.
We can't name a single mom who hasn't done it. That's standard operating procedure.
Like, I had an old mentor from Philly. Shouts out to Armand Houston. I have a child. My child, she's 16, but she's in 11th grade. So I'm kind of almost over all the system stuff. But I used to go over his house, man. We used to wash cars, just to kind of blow steam off, and he would kind of, game me up. And I was helping him wash the car one day, and I was telling him some issues I was having with my baby mama. I hate that phrase, but anyway. He came around from the hood and looked at my shoes. He pointed at them. He's like, "Nigga, you got on new shoes. You look like you're having too much fun." And I laughed about it, but I thought about it. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's small, it's a microcosm, but he was like, "The new shoes represent you kicking it, nigga." And he was like, that's something unspoken she's not gonna tell you. It's just something that's happening. I understood it, but as I got older, I really understood it even more.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it looks like you ain't struggling, they all of a sudden they become damn meat Inspector Clouseau. They start looking for details and clues. Wait a minute, this nigga ain't struggling. Where you get money for new shoes?
A Bear Watch.
Yeah, what she saying? Well, where'd you get money for new shoes at? It's like the same place I got the money for the last pair of shoes.
Right.
She's like, yeah, right. but you got new shoes on. It's okay. And that's good. If all you get is the new shoes, maybe you can hide those. Lord forbid you get a new car. Lord forbid you do that. It better be more used and older than the old one, because like I say, once you start doing that, it's like she's gonna be like, oh, this nigga doing too much. Oh, I remember we got a kid. Mm-hmm. Let me go yank that right quick. Mm-hmm. Let me bring him down a peg or two, because things ain't really moving for me the way I thought it would. Or how dare he be doing okay and I'm not a part of it. So young fellas don't understand that, because to them, that seems simplistic to the point of being unrealistic. It's like, well, nobody would be that petty. I'm like, dude, you're that shows how naive and young you are. Yeah. They get ultra crazy petty. It goes to insane extents because, when y'all were children, they could whoop your ass. Like, let's just say what it is. When you were 10 or 12 years old, if a girl was unhappy with you, she could run up and punch you and she's not going to get arrested or something like that. Right. She can't do that when she's 25. She's 25 years old. She can't really do that. They can try to bust out tires or windows, but she's taking chances, especially if she has a career. She can't do that. So if she does get upset, she's going to have to do something to you, but it won't be that.
And let me say this to like the young fellas, the old fellas, like the game is there for you if you just take your time. And I've dated women who were immigration attorneys. I've dated a bunch of lawyers. I've dated a bunch of them. And one thing I can tell you that most of these women are starved for, they're starved for a decent conversation. A decent conversation.
Y'all know it from the land of pimps talking like that, but go ahead.
Look, I wanted to hit you with something about your broadcast you had a couple of days. You was talking about you know, how the access of women are, the regular chick is to women. You were talking about the access that regular chicks have to men of means and access. You were talking about how like the Starbucks chick, you know, in Starbucks that's in New York, that's over there by the $1 billion projects, those guys are going in and out. They have access, and sooner or later, you know, they've slid with one of them chicks. And we was talking about how scandalous the women can be with the mentality. You know what I mean? You remember that?
Yeah, I need to do a whole program about that because really these fellas don't understand that. All these guys on YouTube pretending they know these things or that they know what the real issue is or what the real situation is, and they can't even all tell you all little simple things like that because, most of these guys are just lying. They haven't lived it. They don't know it. They don't know any of these people. They've never been anywhere. They're just faking it for a bunch of dudes who know even less than them. Let me tell you right now, if you talking to the chick who works at McDonald's in Times Square what? Or the Bubba Shrimp Company, think about that for a few moments, bro. Think about that for a few moments. If she's a waitress at Bubba Shrimp Company or she works there at Times Square, dude, that right there alone lets you know if she works down there at Starbucks near Wall Street. Come on now. If she's a barista working down there near Wall Street, she's got millionaires and billionaires coming up through her every day. You think she's been there for more than 6 months and ain't said yes to somebody?
The word gets around too. Yeah.
As men, that doesn't happen for us. And we start projecting that, well, that doesn't happen for us, so it just doesn't happen. No, it just doesn't happen for you. That doesn't happen for us as men. That happens for females all the time. So if y'all want to know a hot spot, it's like, dudes, stop fooling yourselves. The chick that you, and by the way, it's not the chicks who are 8s and 10s. The chick you think is a strong 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as she is not obese, overweight, the chick that you think is a strong 6, fellas, she done had her ride too. She's had her turn.
She just knows how to party. You know, she knows how to be lively. But we were y'all were talking about, I think we were talking about songs, I believe in on that broadcast. But I wanted to bring up a song no one thought about that kind of like talks about what you're talking about, how scandalous chicks can be. And it's rumored to be true. We don't know, speculation, but we can see it happening is the thing. Remember that song 90 on Biggie's album, I Got a Story to Tell?
Yep.
That was back in the 90s, and he was talking about bouncing with an NBA player's chick, and I think allegedly that was supposed to be Anthony Mason. Allegedly.
The list is too long to narrow it down.
Yeah.
You can name that story in any city in America. You could transplant that to any city in America. Yeah. The real issue is that, you folks want to isolate it to one place or another. It's like you're not living in reality. You're not. Most men can't afford to.
Jason, like I know I'm bouncing subjects here, but when I was I probably was like in the 4th, 5th grade, and my dad, he worked for Warner Brothers. My dad has an interesting career through music, and he was one of the ones that was working the record shop. So he was the one that the record label was calling. Hey, what's hot this week? He was like, he built his career from that to working for marketing for Warner Brothers from New York to Jersey to LA. And as a young man, I kind of like came up in some of that because he was in the industry. And I remember as a kid, he had a good friend that stayed in Northridge, California, next to Granada Hills. And Northridge used to be like where Richard Pryor lived like in the 70s. So it was a pretty nice area. But anyway, he had a buddy that lived out there. and we were all like all the industry people would go kick it back in the 80s, because Hank would have the Tyson fights back in the 80s, and so everybody's there. I'm talking about Johnny Gill, a bunch of people, and the Tyson fights back in the day would last 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So everybody's gathered for the fights, and then the fight's over. We like, what we gonna do next? And so everybody would hit the pool and kick it. It wasn't nothing crazy going on, but I just saw as a young man like how shit can go down, how things go. And I remember Johnny Gill was flipping through pictures. He was showing my dad and his friend, and I come tiptoeing over there like, what y'all looking at? And they stopped and looked at me, looked at John. They flashed me a picture of a chick wearing lingerie. It wasn't nothing X-rated, but just as a kid, man, I got a glimpse of some of that, and everything that you're saying about how these chicks are. I've seen it. I've seen it play out. I've won some, lost some. It is 100% truth, but you got to stay confident in who you are. Don't let that shit trick you at your spot. Stay solid, and over time, you'll see.
Well, I mean, look, the issue we have today in the internet era, and this is something we're going to have to fight to overcome. Mm-hmm. Man, dudes aren't actually hanging around other men in real life. Their only interaction with men is through a cell phone. Their interaction with women is through a cell phone. They don't meet and encounter people.
Right.
They don't take out the time or invest the time in being around other people. So the world becomes this antiseptic drama that you're just watching on a phone. It's not a real place. And then you get out here in the real world and then you trip over your shoelaces your first time out the door. That's what's happening. So we're going to have to fight to overcome that as men in particular. Women benefit from an online culture. Men don't. The internet is where men can make money, but you can't make yourself a better man online. So women can indulge in online culture, but for men outside of business, it's a negative. And we don't do our best work in that environment. We do our best work around other men. All I can tell fellas today is, if you're out here and stuff, man, you might have to leave the damn city you in. You might be in a city that, the whole damn city is just lame. The whole damn city is gameless. The whole damn city just isn't able to elevate you. You might have to do that to be around some fellas and some men who are competitive, who are about a purpose. Because let's just keep it real. Memphis has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. When you got fellas like Young Dolph, it's got its ups and downs in that regard. Sometimes they about something and got a purpose, and sometimes they don't.
Right.
If it's necessary for you to leave the whole city of Memphis to be around some folks on a purpose, I suggest you do that. I don't know if you got to go down to Nashville or what, but I suggest you do that. Don't be around a bunch of folks here and there's no purpose, there's no agenda, there's no code, there's no priority. You don't have men that you can directly compare yourself to. I don't compare myself to nobody. Sit your clown ass down. That's your mama talking.
Right.
A man don't talk like that. Your survival depends on where you rank against other men.
Yes.
Too many fellas out here raised by clown ass hood rat hoes, and they start talking like the hoes, and they sitting there big up in each other. Yeah, you sure ain't right. And it's a whole bunch of manginas. Men are supposed to compete. You are not at your best if you're not in a competitive environment. A man who's not competing is getting weaker. A man who is not competitive don't know what he's truly capable of. And a woman ain't gonna push you.
And deal with it, nigga.
You're right. Like you said before, man, like I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't trying to fanboy you, man, but you got some dope shit out there. If people really take the time to really listen to a lot of what you're saying. You were saying, like I told my cousin, he's in Orlando right now, and I'm proud of him. 24-year-old young man moved from Ohio to Florida, and he's testing his limits. He's testing his limits, and I think as men, we don't often encourage that with men in a healthy manner. You forget these hoes, forget partying and bullshit all the time. Let's get on something serious that's sustainable, you know?
Well, yeah, there's the thing right there. If you want to know what really keeps your NFL athletes and NBA players on code, it's when you have somebody on the team that they look up to. And it's like, yeah, them other fellas out there drinking and smoking and whatnot, but the elite guys on the team don't. Michael Jordan wasn't getting lit on weed. Dennis Rodman was. Okay, take a look at their two careers. I don't give a damn what you say. Take a look at their two careers, man. Dennis was the one drinking and smoking and got to be on his motorcycle and go to Vegas for the damn weekend. MJ was on the court practicing and in the game playing. Kobe was on the court practicing and in the game playing. Shaq was on the court practicing and in the game playing. The fellas that you call the icons, the ones that everybody looked up to, they wasn't the ones doing that. And the young cats who came up under them, who are the superstars today, those are the ones they gravitated to. Hell yeah, because you follow the producers, not the pot smokers, man.
Yeah, like they say in sports. Anybody plays sports, you know this is true. You play to the level of your competition. Your competition isn't your opponent; it's people you practice with.
There's the whole point of us having contracts. The whole point of the contract is, nigga, it tells you where you rank.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to find out the most you're capable of in this life, not the least. Somebody in the chat room telling Robin was a beast. Okay, anyway, some folks are just very easily impressed. But the bottom line is, even if you thought Rodman was impressive, how much more impressive would he have been if he wouldn't been drinking, smoking, and chasing hoes? If that was what he was, drinking, if you were impressed by that, which you're very easily impressed if you are, but if you are, by the way, how much more could he have done if he had just stayed straight? If he had been doing like Jordan, he would have been playing a lot longer than he did. By the way, one more thing. He would have been playing longer than he had. Folks want to overlook that. So that's what I mean. People will sit up here and big up you for messing yourself up. Ooh, you did great though. No, he did great compared to you. Did he do great compared to Jordan? Did he do great compared to Pippen? Did he do great compared to Thomas? We don't want to sit up here and talk about that because like, oh, wait a minute. The most we heard about Dennis Rodman was Carmen Electra.
And don't forget, though, he was on Oprah crying the same tears about his daughter. His ex-wife then took the baby and alienated him, and he's on Oprah crying and shit. So like it can happen. No matter how much money you got, if you ain't gamed up, if your mouthpiece ain't crisp, it could happen to you.
Well, by the time it was time to have that conversation with Dennis, you couldn't tell him nothing.
Right.
Brother, you can't tell nobody. Dennis got to the NBA. I was watching a video the other day where Michael Jordan was like, Dennis called me and said, hey, I need to ask for something. He's like, I knew if Dennis called me to ask for something, I know it's some bull crap.
He ain't gonna come back.
He's like, I need to go to Vegas for the weekend. And Phil Jackson, if he goes, you ain't gonna see him Monday. If he goes the weekend, he ain't gonna. And I'm just saying, think about that for a few moments. He was just that notorious.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, basketball is not the most important thing to him. Okay, well, how long can y'all keep him? Okay, folks talking about that bad boy thing. That was some crap the damn magazine writers gave because it sounds glitzy so they can sell magazines. What you're looking for is a damn dynasty. LeBron James has not been trying to be the bad boy of the NBA.
Right.
Kobe wasn't trying to be the bad boy of the NBA. Kareem wasn't trying to be the bad boy of the NBA. The fellas out here with their shorter careers or not as productive as it could have been, y'all talking about bad. The newspaper reporters calling them bad boys to sit up here and sell papers. That's not in his best interests. That sells papers, but what they're doing is selling you your own dysfunction. And when your career is over, they're going to move on to the next one. Hell, they're already talking to him. No, you need solid dudes around you who you are competing with, so it's very clear if you up to code.
Yeah.
This mama's boyism where everything is all right. No, it's not. Everything is not all right. You're not doing your best. You're not on your game. Now you done let this chick have influence. Anybody who wants to do business with DDG, you got to do business with Hallie now.
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting right there. If he gets a big deal for anything, she's got the ability to walk right in and derail it. And don't believe me? Go ask Tyrese.
And deal with it, nigga.
Tyrese showing y'all right now. It's not alimony. That's not the issue. He's like, this heifer is upset because, I put her down and she's trying to get some lawyers to convert child support into alimony. Mm-hmm. Let's hit him up for so much child support. It might as well be alimony. She doesn't qualify for alimony. Let's hit him up for a bunch of child support. Dude, I'll be successful. She'll go her way. No, you could do that before you had the baby.
Yeah.
Before you had the baby, she had no choice. She's not going to be okay with that. And I'm doing this program tonight because we're in the generation of young fellows who this conversation has not been told to them. And the first time that a chick rub him on the leg, he loses his mind. And the real issue is it doesn't matter how many chicks do it. He loses his mind every time it happens. Like, nigga, you 26 years old. You supposed to be getting at the end of that now. We got the baby. It's like, okay, off to Futureville, and this is how you end up giving your productivity away. You worked so hard to get this. Clearly not hard enough. And if you're around other cats who had to fight and scrape and scratch and claw to get where they are, they ain't going to be tolerating you moving like this. Not around them, you're not. So if you want to be around them, you're going to have to move different. You don't have to do that when you interact with the world through a cell phone. It's just you and the glad-handed niggas around you. Oh, yeah, and that chick over there. And everybody basically setting you up so they can be off in your pockets because they're counting on you being productive for the next 10 years. You're going to be doing a hell of a lot more than them.
Yeah, they're counting on you to overextend yourself. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're looking for, look, brother, they're not even counting on you to stay solid for 20 years. If we can get a good 10 years of paper out of you, we doing great. If we can sponge a good decade of free money off of you, we doing good. We doing good. That's how folks around you move, man. When you're competitive and they're not. When they're looking to get something and you just sitting there giving it because that's the only way you can get anything is to start spending money. You don't have anybody to tell you, yeah, bro, we don't do that. We don't do that over here. He doesn't have that. Now he's going to sit there and listen to her and try to, no, you got yourself over an 8-ball. Built men ain't going to talk to you like that.
Like, don't worry about the shaming tactics, the shaming talk, whatever. You got to block all that out. That's part of that's part of what's par for the course out here. You got to know. You got to expect it.
Brother, most of these fellows out here today are afraid to be alone. We have the saddest, loneliest group of males you ever saw. There's another issue right there, but these fellows, and the older they get, the worse it gets. They're afraid. They're scared to be alone, bro. They are desperate for attention. They're desperate for companionship. They don't. I mean, usually about the females, that most of they want is a conversation. For these fellows out here, most they want is a rub on the back. I'm serious. They want a pat on the head and a rub on the back. I don't know if it's lost mommy issues or whatever, but most of these fellas out here today are lonely, man. They're just they are hopelessly lonely. And when the chick sees that, she knows exactly how to butter him up, and next thing you know, she smashes him for a ring or a baby.
Yeah. She
jams him up. Okay, you gonna give me one or the other, or I'm leaving. And so he winds up doing that, thinking he gonna hold on to her, and then a year later, she gone anyway. So it's hard to talk to him because most of these fellas out here today are just lonely, bro. And the older they get, the worse it's getting.
Yeah.
I'll let you have the last word.
That's all I gotta say, man. I had to call this one up. This was another intricate conversation that people need to really need to hear. Like another one that you had before was a few years ago when you first articulated the difference that people from diaspora have when they come over here. When they come over here, how they it was like that. It was like you gave the notification of this is finally reached a fever pitch and we got to deal with it. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. And I think this is another one of those conversations you're having that people really need to understand.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, like I said, I mean, that might be my next dark arts game. Next time I open up the black book for the dark arts, I need to get in touch with that because you fellas out here, especially in major cities and whatnot, you've been oblivious to the fact or willfully naive. Man, if your chick is working at Blimpies and she's a size 6, the closer to financial institutions and stuff she is, these females who want to go out all the time, they want to go on girls' trips. I'm not talking about party girls. I'm talking about the ones who tell you they just want to get away for once a year or once every 2 years. Diddy ain't the only one having freak offs. The chick working down there at Subway, the chick at the front desk of the Hilton, the chick working at Party City. Hell, Shaquille O'Neal was trying to holler at the chick at Home Depot. Damn! Fellas, please wake up. Your red pill gurus don't know anything about this because they ain't out here in the streets. I am. I'm moving around. I see this out here, and because I'm still single, I can actually be honest about what I see, not projecting what the world used to be 20 years ago and what you read on a cell phone and trying to hope that somebody makes a YouTube video that games you up. I'm telling you what is out here. I'm telling you what it is. If your chick works at Nordstrom's,
Auntie, chill.
man, look out. Am I jumping on early? We ain't gonna do it tonight. Y'all don't want to have me go down this list. You don't want me to go down this list. Ain't no place safe. Your chick has access to 7-figure men somewhere. If she's a nurse, she works at a doctor's office, she works at a hospital. If she works at a place where, men go, it's not one of the bargain basement places or whatever, no, not even if she's at Macy's. If she's at Bloomingdale's, Saks, Bergdorf Goodman, Nordstrom's, something making 7 figures comes through there once a day. Okay, somebody explained to Ed Freeman in the chat room. It flew over his head like a spitball over a classroom of kindergartners. So clearly he thinks he's being logical. He doesn't understand he's doubling the point there. It doesn't matter who it is trying to talk to him. Them guys the fellows who do that holler at everybody. Okay. Somebody take the time to explain it to him. I don't have time to do this. Let me go ahead and see if I can get back over here on Zoom. See if we can get Marcus up here on Zoom. Wake up, Marcus. Marcus might be on the phone with his baby daddy, baby mama. Hold on, I won't put the baby daddy on him. I'm going to say no Diddy. All right, Marcus. I'm waiting for him to hook up his audio. Why does this Negro look like Julius Malema? All right, Marcus, what's on your mind?
Hey, I was calling because I really didn't know what to say because as you were talking to the other callers, I have this on, I'm driving now, but I had it on my phone earlier in my room. My auntie and my mom were at the house, and my auntie, they're in their 60s, and my auntie, she's single, and she was saying that, oh, this Jason, this person you're listening to, why are you listening to him? Because I got men trying to get at me all the time. I'm in my 60s, and then she proceeded to call one of them. I guess she wanted to prove a point to me. She wanted to call one of them, and I guess he's retired from the city.
There you go. I was waiting to hear. Now, what's the caliber of males trying to holler at you, Auntie? Go ahead.
Oh no. Well, she says. Well, if you ask her, she says young guys be trying to get at her. It makes her think she looks younger than her, than whatever. And
nobody questioned that men approach you for sex. Men gonna be trying to sleep with you till the day you die. The biggest place for STDs is in the nursing home. So clearly she's not up to date on things, but go ahead.
Well, that was really it. She was just saying that this Jason Black guy is wrong because, I just wanted to. She's not listening now, but she'll listen to it when this is going to be recorded, and I'll play it for her.
Okay, no, she can play this part right here. Okay, well, look here, Auntie. Here's the way it goes. Since you are in denial, and we need to remind you all for the 100,000th time, since you want to bring out old debunked things, since you didn't get the memo, baby. 60 years old, the young dudes are not trying to commit to you. They want to do the same thing with your 60-year-old body that they want to do with the 20-year-old chick. You don't get priority. The 20-year-old guys you talking about ain't got nothing. It's not like it's a 25-year-old attorney or a 25-year-old chief of neurosurgery. It's a 25-year-old who put down his Xbox controller long enough to say, hey, there you are. So for the best and brightest men, you are invisible. Except for the pension pimps who I've been talking about now for years. The pension pimps are taking the thing moving. She found a guy retired from the city. So she's 60 years old. That means he's 70 or 80. That's what that means. So yeah, man, for the fellas who are so slow now, they gotta get something that can't run away from them. Yeah, there you are. But nobody's offering anything long term except the pension pimps who need somebody to help them renew their medications. But that's it. The most desirable men have left the building. At this point right now, you will take what can take you. You will get what's willing to get you. That's where you are, and that's okay. You've had a 40-year run. You spent the last 40 years doing whatever you wanted to do. The bill is due now. And now you will leave the casino with whatever you can grab on your way out the door. And all you did was open up your phone and show it. Oh yeah, one more thing. If a chick is able to just call a man up at random and he answers, he's obviously not a high value man.
And deal with it, nigga.
He ain't got nothing better to do with his time except answer it whenever you call. He ain't got nothing going on. He doesn't have anything going on, period. So if I had been there, I'd be like, you do know I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. He's going to answer the phone. You're proving my point. That's what it is right there. A man who got things going on, he doesn't have time to answer the phone for you just out of nowhere. And oh yeah, one more thing. So you're the status symbol? So you call him up and he answers the phone. Hey baby, she's my girl. Really? Oh, if he was doing that, which he wasn't. But even if he were, that's not a plus either. You should be the one glad to be with him, not the other way around. That wasn't a flex. Watch, I can call up and he answered. That's not a flex. It really, really isn't. It really isn't. But enjoy grandpa. I mean, it is what it is. The young fellas and whatnot, if you're going to go that way with them, they thought it up, but that ain't a flex, baby. It's not you. That's not special. Dude's going to be trying to snap at you till the day you die.
I have one more question. Does it count as like if they because I believe them when they say they want to take her to vacations and stuff.
Okay, so in other words, everybody's what she's trying to do is find a bunch of dusty lames who are offering the layup. The passport bros do that. They just bring the vacation to the chicks, or they go to the vacation and bring the vacation to them. So that's all. This is domestic passport. Look, fellas, a man, look, this is another part of dark arts. I'm going to have to do this just separately. Y'all give me too much tonight. But a man's money is useless to him when he has it. Money is only good for spending. So females get all impressed because a fella was talking about taking her somewhere. Baby, he was going anyway. That's what the passport bros don't get, talking about y'all pay for sex. No, he was going anyway. If it's not you, it's somebody else. He's not doing that for your enjoyment. He's doing it for his. And if you say no, that's not going to stop him from going. He just won't go with you. But this trip is happening whether you go or not. You are on a long list of females, or maybe a short list of females he's begging. Either which way, the bottom line is you are not essential. And you letting the fact that they talking about going somewhere fool you into thinking that he's arranging the trip for you. That he didn't want to go to Los Angeles till he saw you. You're the only one he's asked. You're the only one he's called. You're on a list. Now, if she were to talk about the list, would she still be bragging? Of course she wouldn't. But that's the part of the conversation that never comes up. Do you think she's the only one they offering to get flued out? She's sitting here flexing about getting flued out. Ma'am, this is the culture today. This is the culture today. And she's acting like she's got I'm special. I got a monopoly. Last but not least, if you take a look at the dudes, there's one more thing. By the way, because a woman's value comes from the quality of the guys. Pinching, pimping, down and out, beta bill, sorry, sad sack. That's nothing to flex on. So as her nephew, you can be kind, I can be brutal. It's like, ma'am, you ain't said nothing we didn't already. I told you exactly what this was going to be. This is it right here. There's not one of those guys in their 20s is a fella that any of us would want to compete with or would want to be like. Not a one of them. And what is he? Hey, auntie, what is that 22-year-old offering you besides sex? Other than that? Well, he's offering to fly me out. To do what? Well, he's offering to take me out. To do what? Well, he's offering to take me on vacation. Okay. And to do, when you go on vacation, to do what? In other words, eliminate sex from the scenario, and does this date happen? Does this vacation happen? Does this trip happen if you eliminate sex from the equation? Does he still want to see you?
Okay, yeah, but it all originated because I think she heard you say the phone would stop ringing at a certain time. I forget how you said it, but
yeah, I mean, I said that females do not believe men until the phone stops ringing. Yeah, the valuable men who are willing to make her a commitment, they stop calling back in her 30s. Now she's just getting the phone's still ringing, but as I said, she omitted that part. The phone is now only ringing for fellas who want to lay up. That's the only thing that's ringing the phone now. Back when she was, let me remind Auntie again, ma'am, don't take half of what I said. The whole truth was whooping your ass, so you got to take the black book. I got to bust you over the head with it. When you were in your 20s, when the phone rang, men were offering sex and commitment, sex and resources, sex and benefits, sex and status. 60 years old, men are offering, for the ones who can offer sex, if the Cialis people show up on time, they're just offering sex now. They're not offering you anything else. They're not offering sex and nothing. You can have sex and, if it was you might get some more sex in a couple weeks. And that's where you are. Right there. Except for the broke down, sad sack, pension pimp. There might be one fella out there whose diabetes medication needs to be renewed. Other than that, that's what you're being offered. So yeah, your phone's ringing for the least valuable. It sure is. And this is where you will be for the duration. From here to the end of the days. That's what it'll be.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. She didn't like it because I was reading the mail. Jason, the genesis of this was that the genesis of this is that I was reading the mail. The genesis of this is that I was reading the mail. She heard that and she's like, oh, this lines up perfectly. Wait a minute. What is she trying to convince you that these men really want her? Want you in what way? They're not offering anything of any long-standing value or permanence. If they were, you would have taken the offer. Because you need to. Once y'all start getting old, it's like, okay, you better grab something. Folks are going to laugh and giggle at him. It is what it is. Ain't nothing driving a my box sitting in your phone, ma'am.
Nigga, please.
Stop it. I got a fella retired. Is he retired from Hollywood? No. Retired from the Fortune 500? No. He retired from the city. Okay, well, that's what a 60-year-old can get. Was she really sitting up here singing, they said I'd never make it? Was Auntie really up here trying to sing, they said I'd never make it? You got an average retiree. You ain't got nothing special. A government employee. Yes, that's what a 60-year-old can get. That's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be with a retiree with his bad knees and his high blood pressure. You're supposed to be with him. Yes, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. You don't get a winner. You don't get a fella that other females are like, whoa, let me bust in the back of the head for. You don't get that. You get the average black band. That's what you qualify for. You get that. You don't get a competitor. You literally just said he's a retiree. Yes, you don't get a competitor. You had access to that in your 20s. You don't get that. These old women trying to convince you they still got it, baby. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. I'm trying to help you. Give it up, Johnny. It ain't happening for you. Because it can't happen for you. You don't need to listen to Jason Wise so he can get took by another little old lady like you. Stop trying to mislead these young men. Trying to lie to him like you got options. I got folk in my phone. Every female, Cinnabay got folk in her phone. Lizzo got folk in her phone. Do you have something that that folks actually want to compete for in your phone? No. There's some 20-year-olds trying to lay up with me. Okay, and you think that makes you special? You think you're the only one? She thought that was special. Ain't nobody else trying to have sex with nobody except me. They're ignoring all these other females. They don't want that 25-year-old chick. What she's trying to say is that she's 60 years old and she can compete with the 20-year-olds. That's what she's trying to say. The same, I'm competing with the 20-year-olds. This is when you gotten old enough to be delusional. When they start getting delusional, they start getting older, they start focusing on how much sexual attention they can get. Yeah, because that's all that's being offered. Let me make a suggestion to you here, ladies. Don't try to push for leverage when you've lost all your chips. When you're in your 20s or your early 30s, there's like, okay, you can try to flex and make some demands. You get in your 40s and 50s and 60s talking about what you ain't gonna accept and ain't gonna do, and I'm looking for a serious commitment. I'm through playing games. Okay. At some point, this just becomes insulting to our intelligence. Don't be listening to Jason back now. I'm 60 years old. And that men still want to sleep with me. And nobody said it wasn't. Let's talk about the quality of the men. Let's not talk about them. Y'all know full well what would happen if she was on the phone with me right now. We have a 100% win record on that one. She knows. Talk to your nephew, silly. Don't try to talk to the rest of us. Well, I guess she was talking to him. So don't try this in public company. Don't try it. It gets embarrassing real quick. It gets humiliating real fast. Learn when the game is over. You should have been embarrassed to say that you were calling up a retiree.
And deal with it, nigga.
Come on now. So you gonna flex on me and talk about you calling up a retiree. Here, hold still. Jason said I'm too old. Let me show you the men who want me. Dun, 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 dun. Who you calling up? He is retired from the city. Did she think about that before she said it? Did she give that any thought before she said that? I'm calling up Willie James. Willie James, he used to work for the Department of Public Works. He is retired now. How old is he, auntie? 72. Why don't you say that a little louder? Jason, you roasting. I'm just telling the truth. Come on now. She's sitting up there bad-mouthing me to her nephew, talking about she's 60 years old and what I don't know. I'm like, meanwhile, Willie James is sitting on the damn phone. Hey, girl, that nigga is so in demand, she can call him at any time of the day and he answers the phone. She knew he was going to answer the phone. That's how she knows. This is just an old nigga. This is just an old nigga sitting in front of the damn television. When they old and retired, they ain't got nothing to do but sit around. Case in point, hello, Prince.
Oh, he dropping.
This nigga always available.
Listen, it's all good. Listen, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I just left my job. My daughter said, you ain't got no job, daddy. Look, you ain't got no sense, man. She don't want you corrupting her nephew. Jason, I got a question for you. And please, if you can remember, because you may not know when you started doing it. When did you start speaking against mothers and older women being viewed as a sacred cow? Because I don't know nobody else that done that. Because when we growing up, you say something about somebody's mama, you know how that is in the South. What you say about my mama?
Well, I try to avoid that one in particular, but I'm not going to mince any words about, what the deal is. I'm not going to mince any words about that. So just basically everybody was really banging on the single mother thing, but I'm just the guy who said, hey, y'all haven't drilled deep enough on this. You're playing too nice about it. I was the guy who started saying that, single mother simply means, does she have kids and she's not married? Before I started doing it a decade and a half ago, everybody was saying single mother is a woman who got pregnant, and wasn't married. Well, I was the guy who said, no, she's a single mother if she's single with kids. Is that man still alive? Yes, he is. Then she's a single mom. Now, and the reason I said that was because what we lack today is practical, logical thinking. When you take a look at this as a logical thinking skill, is your situation with this divorced woman with kids any different than the chick with 5 kids by 5 different men?
No.
Tell me how it's different. Well, she's a different quality of female. And then we started talking about the divorce statistics. Now they finally realized, oh, hell, y'all were just sniffing the hopium and trying to hold on to the idea that, okay, let's keep the pool of females as large as it can be. That's where that really came from. Well, we don't want to exclude the divorcees with children because that will shrink the pool of available most desirable females. And I'm just like, it's already been shrunken. It's already there. You're not going to redeem her because of that. If she's divorced, if she became a single mom, she became a single mom for a reason. If she got divorced for a reason.
Yes.
All I did was just apply some critical thinking skills. Now that's the red pill. Now that's part of the red pill movement. It wasn't 15 years ago when I said it, folk wanted to argue. Now, I guess 15 years late is better than never.
The single mother with the divorced mother, she was just able to trap the man. The baby mama was not. That's the only difference. Now, Jason, let me see what I got here. You write about those teachers and them nurses, man. I'm gonna tell you, I saw something at the VA one time I never could believe.
Lord, y'all, he said at the VA. Go
ahead. They had to pass a law, Jason. I don't know if this law is legal, but they said the nurses and the doctors, the female nurses, doctor, they can't be marrying these veterans on their deathbed.
Yeah, because there was a couple of nurses. It wasn't just one. It was 2 nurses who just went ham with that. And the one you're talking about in particular, it's about a decade or so ago. But it was a couple of nurses. They didn't do that because there was just one nurse. That's not the way it works. Except black men. If we do something, we can get a whole law made for us. Jack Johnson, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby. One black man get out of line, we get a whole law made for us. We get a 1-strike rule. But for the rest of the population there, they have to actually be serious. So that was a thing, man. It's just it happens in the healthcare field, period. But at the VA, you had a couple of nurses who really went ham. And they was getting these fellas to trick off. So it's like, hey, the money is there and he's offering it. Yeah, but he's not in his right mind and this, that, and the other. So like I say, he's not in a state where he can really consent to that. And the families are getting involved. So it became a big messy thing. So, but yeah, that's been an issue for a while. And yes, it's a very real thing.
Wow.
And it still happens, by the way.
I know one guy, he wasn't on his deathbed, but he was one of them pension pimping, but he retired and had the VA benefits. This doctor, she couldn't been smart. She wasn't a surgeon or nothing. She left her practice at the VA to go be with him. I'm like, I don't understand people. I don't know. Maybe she just had bad judgment or something. But it's just some weird thing. Jason, I want to ask you. You telling me now? I think she looked like she was the Little Mermaid girl. She's baby trapping now.
Yeah, man. She got this little dumb ass, and that's a wrap for him. And it's a wrap for her too, because you only do that when you realize your career ain't really going nowhere. So you got one sister who is stripping ass naked. And then you got the other one having bastard kids. So what I think is that they didn't start getting the word from the higher ups that we ain't really gonna invest in y'all like that. So when they start getting those little inklings and those little hints that there won't be any further investment coming, because remember Halle was in The Little Mermaid. It's not like that was a hit movie. So it's like, do we really want to sink another $200 million into you? Do we really want to bet on that? And because remember, it's like the record industry, the music industry. When you're the hot new artist, they love you. You come to the record company and whatnot. They got the secretaries with their cleavage showing, and everybody's feeding you grapes and cookies and anything else you want. As soon as your album don't do the numbers, it turns to a very cold, hostile place. And before, every time you called them, they answered, or most of the time they were calling you. Phone's not ringing anymore. Ain't that right, Auntie? But the phone's not ringing anymore. And when that starts happening, then you start testing to see, hey, wait a minute, things didn't change. Now you're calling the record company. You go into voicemail. You can't get a meeting with them. They were offering you a bunch of things before now. Now they're not offering anything.
Okay.
You're still on their list, but they're not offering anything now. And that's how they let you know, yeah, we're getting ready to cycle you out. Remember, it nearly happened to Nicki Minaj. That when they brought in, it was the girl before Cardi B. I forget her name. But there was a girl before Cardi B, and then Cardi B, and then Meg Thee Stallion. Like I said, because everybody snipes at Nicki. There was that Iggy Azalea chick. So they let Nicki know, yeah, we're ready to phase you out and find the next new thing. Nicki was able to hang on because her competition, has been so incompetent. But yeah, she made songs about it. That the record companies and whatnot, they were making it clear, yeah, we're going to trade you out. We're going to swap you out. We're going to bring in the next girl who's going to topple you. What they didn't count on was that Nicki was just going to go it for their throats. Now, they didn't count that Nicki was going to she's like, yeah, I'm not going to wait for them to get me. I'm going to get them. And it worked. But that's the way it works, man. That's the way it works. That's the way it happens when the industry is done with you, or when they no longer think you're worth the investment. You start, the phone calls start drying up. The offers start drying up. The folks at the company who used to be able to get a hold of you with no problem, now you can't get them anymore. And then you start realizing, I'll be damned, they're pulling the plug. They're looking for something else now. They're pulling the plug. I'm not going to get any more roles. So with these girls, and I don't wish ill on them, but the bottom line is they were offered their little record deals. They were offered their little movie deals. It's very clear what was supposed to happen. And it didn't happen. Oh, well, let me go see if I can throw these legs around the nigga out there and get this baby popping, so at least something will break my fall.
Jason, I want to ask you so many things, but with the auntie situation with the brother that just got off the line, what do you think her biggest issue with you is? Is it you corrupting her nephew, the embarrassment from you exposing the game, or is she just trying to stick to the female code? What do you think the major problem is there?
Old chicks never learn.
My God, they don't learn nothing.
No, the reason why we have to put them down later, it's like, as females get older, if they're not already wise and sensible, you can't put it in them later. They're just set in their ways. So I've got a saying I've been saying since I was a teenager, old dumb hoes started out as young dumb hoes.
Now that's real talk.
They didn't just wake up one day and become dumb. She's been like that her whole damn life. It's just now she's too old and unappealing for men to tolerate it. But she's been talking silly like that her whole damn life. When she was in her 20s, she was talking about how great she was, and now she's in her 60s saying it's like, okay, learn a new damn tune. Learn a new damn tune. Now it's just, and the reason for that is because they never get the potency of value from the world that they get sexually. Women get doors held open for them. They take a look at we get trips and free freebies. Nobody offers women anything like that other than sexually. That's the only place that they can get that kind of virulent reaction is sexually. And it feels great when they can actually get it. And they spend the rest of their lives trying to preserve it because there is no substitute. You're never going to be as valuable, be as hot, be as desired, people being as passionate as they were when you were in your 20s and sex was on the table. And they spend the rest of their lives trying to either hold on to it or try to figure out how to reclaim it, which can't happen.
But Jason, I want to ask you this. When does a woman's celebrity status have value to a man? So given this young lady, apparently her celebrity status has value, and you're saying even that has a sexual component, what are you saying there?
A woman's celebrity status has no value to a man. Except a man who is beneath her in status. Before you even try to say it, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce is valuable to Jay-Z as part of his business. Remove that little consulting company he's gotten. What's the value I'm not saying she has no value as a person. You asked about her celebrity status. Her celebrity status has no value to Jay-Z. He's not going to sell one more album because he's married to her. Well, what if she's on the album? Well, that's not his status, that's hers.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So even in that sense, it doesn't work. So a woman's celebrity status is just like a woman's income. That doesn't have value to us.
I like the way you put it. Yes.
That's not something she can share, not with a man who's got any. Now, to a man who doesn't, 21 Savage, I ain't gonna diss him. Well, look, 21 Savage came up because after Kanye, Amber Rose, it was his turn. So 21 Savage, that was a come up for him. Well, yeah, but that was because he was lower in status than she was at the time. He was able to parlay that. Okay, it's like, okay, now he young and he hot. He got Amber Rose. At least people recognize her, even if she got certified host status. That was a come up for him. But only because he was lower in status. If he had been at Kanye's level, that would have been a gigantic step down. And even Wiz Khalifa. It was a step down for him. Now, just take a look. If anybody wants to argue about that, by the way, what happened after 21? Where did she get to go after that? Oh, I'm sorry, Alexander Edwards.
What about Babyface's ex? She was
Tracy?
able to move. Huh?
Tracy?
Yeah, wasn't she able to kind of get another successful man or two?
I mean, I think she was running around with Eddie Murphy for a minute, but then again...
Oh, she didn't marry him.
I don't know. I don't remember if she did or didn't, but I do know that he didn't keep her.
No, he did not.
He wasn't fighting to be a replacement for Kenny Babyface Edmonds.
No, he did not.
So women, you hear a lot of deflection. They try to deflect from the fact that and try to parlay sexual interest into being genuine desire or commitment. And we've been debunking this forever, but they keep coming back saying the same thing. Well, yeah, because that's all they got. And they need this reality to not be true because this is very damning. If you actually accept that this is the real reality and this is what you're really up against, you're going to have to make some hard decisions. Maybe Willie Earl is the best you can do. Maybe Willie James is the best you can do. Maybe you really did screw yourself so badly that you left all your best options back in your 20s. Ain't that right, Halle Bailey? Maybe you really did screw the pooch so much that you can't fix it. And you just have to grab whatever will grab you. Maybe that's where you are. Maybe your life is a joke. Maybe it is a bad punchline. As the attorney James Sexton said, everybody else got their highlight reel, your life is a gag reel. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe you left your last producer, your last competitor back there somewhere. Maybe that really did happen to you. Maybe it really is off to Grandmaville. And you are blissfully in denial. Baby, you literally said you calling up the nigga that retired from the city. Literally.
She gonna call in cussing you out, dude.
That's literally what she said. That's Prince. I've been telling y'all this now for years.
He was flexing.
Dude, that's where it is right now because a bunch of these old cats, they've gotten to a point where they know he's willing to leverage money for sexual access because now his income is guaranteed. So as far as he's concerned, it's not that big of a risk.
Not cool.
Well,
off code.
He's certainly off code as hell. It's silly as hell, definitely. But certainly, like I say, that's what he's willing to extend that. She's delusional and deceived because she thinks that it has the same value it did when guys were doing that in their 20s, and it doesn't. You've reached your destination. And the bottom line is, how do you flex about being with, the retired guy from the city? No dissing, I'm sure he's a fine, upstanding citizen. Dude, she's trying to flex about it. Do you realize what she's trying to impress us?
Letting you know. Jason don't know what he's talking about because I got a line of men waiting on me, but nobody committing, Jason. She got to call them because they ain't where she at.
And this is where we are.
Yes.
So as they get older and stuff, you get tired of having silly conversations that go in the same circles all the time. You get tired of that kind of silliness. You need something rational. So, and it's not like they don't know this. I mean, no offense, but all the older females, y'all know. Y'all know what it is. They're not deceived or in a fog about it. They know it's like, yeah, dudes ain't really digging that kind of defiance all the time. You're talking silly. And do I want to be put on the hook and liable for silly?
No. Have Jason, this is my core question, brother. This is that I'm trying to find a solution to. Is it possible to advise a young man after he get papered up, like this young man come into it the way he did, and he was apparently he was on his grind, or he looked up on this. Can you reach them, or is it impossible to reach most of them? Because it's hard to even reach the young ball stars, and they see what's going on.
Artificial intelligence, even as it's being programmed, it learns from its mistakes. But then again, that's the core of all intelligence. If you never make mistakes, you can't tell us why what you did worked. That's the problem with never making a mistake. When you make a mistake, you can explain why doing it the wrong way was wrong and why doing it this other way was correct. Because you know what will happen if you don't do it this way. Right. So you've now substantiated why this is, quote, the right way. Because you know what the wrong way is. Hopefully you do your mistakes, but make your mistakes small. Hopefully they are limited. Yeah, some unpleasant things will happen, but hopefully you don't do something that lingers for decades long after you've absorbed and learned the lesson. That you're still carrying the baggage from the mistake, even after you've learned the lesson. That's the sweet spot you want to be in. You want to be able to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, correct the mistakes, without having to live with those mistakes for the rest of your damn days. Because now you're playing the whole game with a handicap. That's what you want to avoid. That is hard to do with any young person who is given, in the words of Steinbeck, too much too soon. That's very hard to do if I just give it to you early. You don't have enough life experiences to understand just how many things are out there hunting to take you down, to sabotage you. People you don't. The reason we call them haters, Prince, is because I don't even know this nigga. And he doesn't even like me. I don't know him. I never met him. I never seen him. And he doesn't like me. Like, dude, I don't even know you. How are you upset? How are you mad at me and I don't even know you? Nigga, you doing too much. That's the slogan of all haters. You doing too much. No, nigga, you did too little. But you are a reminder to him of what he hasn't done. So he's hating on you. His female wishes she could be with you. And every time he looks at her, he sees she don't have that gleam in her eyes that she does for you. Even looking at you on the television screen. She's never met you either. And she would rather sit there and watch that TV than sit with the guy who's next to her. That devours his soul. So that's hard, man.
Well, look at himself. He need to get himself together. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Well, that's hard to do because you have to actually make some changes. Getting yourself together is uncomfortable. Getting yourself together is painful. And if you've been raised to be a weak, fragile male, you're not going to engage in uncomfortable things for an extended period of time. You won't do it. You have the option of saying, damn this, let me smoke some weed and get on this Xbox. And that's what you choose to do instead. So to really improve your life is uncomfortable. It requires you spending most of your time doing something that's not comfortable and only a little bit of time doing something that is thoroughly enjoyable. But that's what keeps you competitive. So to answer your question there, it's hard to a young person who's been given too much too soon. It's very hard. Everybody around him is lying to him. Everybody around him is gassing him up. And wine, woman, and song. This has been throughout our entirety of our history of men ever since we invented currency.
Yes.
Everybody is looking, and when you become a come up, everybody is looking to get over on you, and nobody's wearing a t-shirt that says, "Hi, Prince, I'm here to get over on you." Nobody's doing that one. So if they don't have good grounding before we get started, he's really just going to be the next chicken who gets plucked. That's really all that's going to happen. And that's what happens most of the time. Most men end up getting juiced and used. Most men do.
Jason, but come on, Jason. We got an advantage because we are introverts. We spend most of our time trying to solve problems, think through things, make sure that we don't repeat that mistake again. And most people are not doing that. They're looking for a feel good. They did a sleep study on me one time because I couldn't sleep. I literally, they say my brain activity, I was more active thinking while I was asleep than
that was just the cocaine.
And deal with it, nigga.
Nah, Prince, that was just the cocaine, but go ahead.
I ain't never used look what I'm about to say. I never used no hard drugs.
What Prince said, I ain't on the pipe no more, but go ahead.
I ain't never do no cocaine or nothing like that. Now, Jason, and, oh man, let me see. Yeah, Southern Pimps rule the yard. When you talked about those curtains, you know how that go, brother. Now, let me ask you, why is the baby trap still a winning strategy in some cases? Almost any woman, whether it's a smaller group of men, I know, but why are they able to still get even some dudes that have? How's that still a winning strategy? What are we going to have to do to deal with that problem? You can't stop the human nature of men and women wanting to get together.
Well, that's the real issue is that, look, as long as you have fellas who are desperate and are willing to leverage money for sex, attention for sex, resources for sex, that he doesn't want to build genuine value in himself, and he's willing to leverage it. And because his weakness is that in reality, he's more desirous for companionship than he is for competence, you're always going to have that. That is always the way it's going to be. And even if there were fewer guys like that, the females would just dogpile the few who are, because eventually they get desperate. So there's not really a fix. You can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. You can't fix gullible. You can't fix willfully ignorant. You can't fix that. If you have a guy who is willing to take that chance or willing to indulge it, and starving men for attention, we have the most attention-starved generation of males ever. That's what I'm saying, brother. It's just, and it's not for the young fellas either. I see a bunch of older cats out here lonely as hell. And that's why you're seeing what it is. The females know this. Now the females know the fellas are tricking off left, right, and center. So some of the younger ones are getting smarter about it, but some of them are not. So having easy targets and guys who don't protect themselves because they're showing their childhood trauma, they're showing their, vulnerabilities. One of their vulnerabilities is they're willing to let a female take advantage. That's one thing when you're talking about your mom, but they're going out in the world finding different females and giving them the mom deference. And when you give a chick a baby, dude, in this country, she's got power over you. So if she's not there specifically for you, if you are not the light in her eyes, if she doesn't have 100% commitment and loyalty to you, that baby is just a tool. And when she wants to use it, sometimes that tool is a wrench and other times that tool is a hammer. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, brother Jason. Let me see. This is the last one here. What are two top cities? If you wasn't living in your hometown, what would be two top cities that you would move to as far as your business entrepreneurship?
Okay, well, I guess it depends on what you want to do with it. But if you're talking about ideally, number one city, if you have international aspirations, it's still New York. That's just the bottom line. It's still New York. Miami is not going to overtake New York City anytime soon because Miami's pedigree is a party city. Yes, I'm aware. I'm the guy who broke the story to you all about there's a lot of folk in New York who are moving investment down to Florida and whatnot. This is true, but it's not in danger of toppling New York anytime soon. It's not in danger of toppling California anytime soon. Florida is really full with a bunch of retirees. What's happening is you have some instead of having some retirees bringing their retiree money down there, you have some very wealthy individuals bringing their wealthy money down there. But what they're not doing is bringing the whole industries. New York has the whole banking industry. Miami does not. It's got some nice banking buildings. I've been in some of them, but it doesn't have industries. Miami is a resort town. It's for leisure. It's where the rich come to play. But it's not where the rich bring their businesses. When you take a look at where Florida is geographically, it's really this big strip that's extended way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes,
When you get on a plane, you're over the water for hours if you're flying west. And if you're in Miami, it takes you 8 hours to get out of the state. So even when a hurricane hits. So Miami's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice place if you got money. But as far as if you want to choose, Miami would be second.
Oh, okay.
I would make Miami, as far as I'm concerned, is more desirable than LA. Much more. Unless you specifically want to get into the corporate entertainment industry. If you look at for the stuff that's really popping the internet, that's Miami. LA is not the internet. LA is the old broadcast system. The movie studios, the theaters, that's LA. But then again, it put all of its eggs in that basket. So if you don't do Silicon Valley or Hollywood, LA ain't got nothing to offer you. So if you're looking to start business, that's going to be New York. If you're looking for internet business, that's going to be for media. That's going to be Miami. That's where you're going to want to be. And if you're black, you want to do brick and mortar, that's going to be Atlanta. So it depends on what you want to do. It depends on what you want to do. So if you ask me what it was, I would put it somewhere in those three, depending on what it is you want to do. Just keep in mind, New York will give you the best place for international business, but you're going to have to bring some money with you before you start because it's very expensive to be there.
Gotcha.
That's the issue with that. And you're competing against international money in a way that you're not in other cities. We got international money in most of our major cities in America, but nowhere near is it this super magnet that New York is. So that's the difference there. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Good question there, by the way. That's a good question. Young fellas need to be asking those kind of things. Younger fellas need to be asking those kind of things right there. Y'all need to know exactly where that's at because you don't want to go to places that are popping. Chicago is not on my list, and let me explain to you why. Chicago is a fantastic city except for one thing. Chicago is enthusiastically proud of its corruption. What? That's the problem with Chicago. Chicago is gleefully boastful of how corrupt of a city it is. That's the issue with Chicago. That's why Chicago has never really been able to topple New York, and it should have been able to do it a century ago. That's why Al Capone set up shop there. Chicago has always bragged about how corrupt it is. Chicago is the most corrupt city in America, and I have been from coast to coast. I'm from Louisiana. I've never seen a place that was so blatantly, you can bribe anybody, blatantly corrupt as Chicago. I've never seen it. I've never seen another place that even comes close to the blatant, in-your-face corruption that place is. So even if the weather were great year-round, it's like, okay, but do you want to deal with all this? So now I will say one thing. Chicago, don't sleep on Chicago as far as the females are concerned, because the females in Chicago, it's like they're trying to compete with New York. I'm talking about as far as fitness. So it's not a bunch of fat, jiggly broads up there anymore. So that's a bit of a pleasant surprise. Chicago has I guess somebody's opened a yoga studio or something. So the females in Chicago have started to get their game on and they started to get in shape up there. So that's a pleasant surprise in that regard. So as far as the females and that part of it, the females are actually stepped their game up. So I will say I was pleasantly surprised about that. But then again, they females from Chicago. Damn! There's the downside. The upside is the females have stepped up their attractiveness game. The downside is the females from Chicago have stepped up their attractiveness. That's the good news. The bad news is they're still females from Chicago. That's the problem. Now, I say that with respect. I say that with respect because I've always said women from Chicago are gutter. Women from Chicago are gully. Women from Chicago keep it real. They don't lie to you. If a female from Chicago likes you, she's straight up with it. If she doesn't, she's brutally honest with it. So women in Chicago believe in cutting through the nonsense immediately. They let you know exactly what it is. Either she's got use for you or she doesn't. Either she's feeling you or she doesn't. She's not going to lead you on. She's not going to lead you around. She's not going to fake it with you. She ain't going to none of that. New York, they'll do that. DC, they'll do that. Atlanta, they'll do that. Baton Rouge, they'll do that forever. Chicago, females in Chicago will not lead you on for a minute. If you that dude, you that dude. And they going to let it be known. If you're not, oh, they going to cut it off right then, right there. You won't make it past the first couple text messages. You won't make it that far. So, and I've always respected that about Chicago women. They are unique. They're not, it's not about that being sassy and rude, stupid stuff you encounter other places. They are just blunt and to the point. If you that dude, she coming straight out the gate with it. She don't give a damn about you saying she fast or this, that, and the other. If you're that dude, she going for it. She's shooting her shot all day. She's going for it. But if you're not, oh, you're invisible. You don't even exist. She's not digging into nothing. She don't want to see no resume. She don't want to get a follow-up phone call. It's like, she's like, you don't even look right. So I will say that. Now, Chicago has a lot of money in it. You know, it's a transportation hub. You'll make some coin there, but it is just so damn intrinsically corrupt, man. Now, that's the part I do not like. It makes it real hard. It makes it real hard to do long-term planning when you're in the middle of that, you know? It just makes it real hard. It makes it real hard. I would love to say I hope one day that gets corrected, but I'll be damned. It's been like that for a decade, so what do you expect? Danny Vasquez talking about where would you stay when you're visiting? Magnificent Mile, the Sheraton, the Hyatt, Trump International, if you can get in there. It has a beautiful view of the water. Excellent view of the water. So if you can get Trump International, with one of the executive or higher suites, if you can get one of those, it's got an unbelievable view. Fantastic view. You'll actually like Chicago. If you actually get a chance to see that or get a chance to stay there, that's good. If you don't, if money ain't right like that, go down the street to the Hyatt, go down the street to the Sheraton. Those are cool too. You just don't get the same view. Those are cool too. You just don't get the same view. But if you're like me and that's what you want, that's the put there. But you get a wonderful view of the London House. My folks in Chicago know what that is. My people in Chicago know what that is. From Trump International, you get a fantastic view of the London House. So you get to see all that. You get to see all the new buildings. You get to see the water. You get to see the sunrise. So if you can get in there, it's worth it. The parking situation, I wasn't feeling that. Y'all in Chicago, parking is a damn scam. It is a scam, even for valet parking. Cool dudes and everything, but it's a scam. It really is. So I'm not happy with that. Not happy with that. No, Chicago, I've been all up and down the South Side. I've been all up and down the South Side at night. So the thing in Chicago is don't go places you don't know with people you don't know. You don't hear about, like tourists getting killed there. It's a bunch of it's just some gang activity. But like I say, and you shouldn't be on the South Side unless you got people who live there. But other than that, you're downtown, North Side, West Side. It's cool. It's fine. So Chicago gets a reputation because of the news media, because that's what they do, but it's cool. Yeah, if you're on the Sheraton, you want to be on the Riverside because otherwise all you have is an excellent view of the skyscrapers across the street from you. Now, if that's the kind of thing you like, if you like that, and it's not like they're just right up on top of you because the street is real wide, but if you have a view of the river, that's great. If you have a view of the buildings too, that's all right too, but just understand that's all you're going to see is the buildings in front of you. The best view, I got to say, is from the Trump. It's a great big tall tower. It's over most everything else, although they got a bunch of skyscrapers. You get it's right there on the river, so you get to see straight out the river all the way out to the water. So, and when the sun comes up in the morning, usually there's skyscrapers to block it. So I would recommend that to all of you. If you have not been to the Trump International in Chicago, go there at least once. Get you a high floor suite at least once. Go do that at least one time so you can see what that's like. And it'll help you to divorce yourself of a lot of the negativity you might think about Chicago. Also, do it in the summertime. If you're going to do it in the summer, because I'm from the southern United States where it's all humid and hot, and Chicago's weather is great in the summer. Chicago, compared to what we got, Chicago's weather in the summer is wonderful. Now, in the winter, it's a damn no man's land. But in the summer, it's wonderful. The weather in Chicago is great in the summer. So if you have the opportunity to go to Chicago in the summer for a week, I highly recommend it. I absolutely recommend it. Absolutely. If you can go down there by the metal bean. So yeah, if you can go down there by the lake or by the river, if you can do that, I especially in the summertime, don't go with Lollapalooza. Don't do that. Avoid that one. Now I will say that don't go with Lollapalooza. Don't. But other than that, if you can avoid that week, yeah, it's good. Yeah. One more thing, Chicago. I'm sorry, Belize guy, you got me off on the damn rant. Yeah, let me talk about Chicago right quick. Chicago got some good food, but if you are down, I've had great pizza in Chicago, except this one place. There's a place called Lou Malnati's. Oh, I'm putting you on Front Street. I'm putting you on Front Street, people. Oh, that was the worst I've ever had. And it was like $50. What? Oh, it was awful. It was a deep dish pizza. It was $50 damn. You're down there at the Trump and whatnot. It's downtown. It takes an hour to get it. $50 for one deep dish. It was the worst. It was literally dripping in grease. I got their meat lovers. It was literally swimming. You turn first of all, they didn't cut it. They said, we recommend not cutting the pizza. I'm like, okay. But, yeah, I'm in the tourist area. I know. I'm just saying, this was my first. I knew I was taking a chance because all the good pizza is down there, either on the south side or down there where Chinatown is. Not in Chinatown, but down there where Chinatown is. So all the good pizza and stuff is there. I know you're not supposed to go downtown. We all know you taking chances with your life if you do that. I'm sitting up here like, okay, screw it. I'm rolling the dice. I went to a place, Lou Malnati's. Yes, sir. I'm saying y'all's damn name. Awful. I literally cut out like one slice. It was dripping in grease. You literally turned the pizza sideways and grease was literally running off of it. Not a little bit. Think if somebody made sausage and just dumped the sausage and the grease onto the top of your pizza. That's literally what it was. Literally. $10 for a bottle of water. $50 for a pizza. And then they had some one of them hard ass chocolate desserts with it and whatnot. I was like, oh, the Department of Health needs to come shut y'all asses down tonight. Ain't gonna happen because it's Chicago corruption. But oh yeah, one more thing. Lou Malnati's Pizza. Lou Malnati's Pizzeria. Great. It's got very convenient online ordering. It is very conveniently placed in distance from the Trump International, and it'll be the worst pizza you've ever had in your life. Deep dish. The crust wasn't fully damn me cooked like it was supposed to be. I got this heifer sitting over here nagging me. Okay, let me leave that part to the side. I'm just saying, you think it's bad if you were by yourself? Okay, imagine some chicks sitting up here complaining about it. It's like, oh Lord, I gotta listen to this all damn night. So no, fellas, do yourself a favor. Go drive and go get one. Uber Eats something. Do yourself a favor. Do not go to the closest place. If you do go to Sheraton, Hyatt, Trump International, don't go to the closest pizza place. Don't do it. Don't do it. Y'all have never heard me rant like this before about a pizza place. Y'all have never heard me rant like this before. I'm warning you that this was the worst ever. And yeah, they can call me if they want to. Be glad I didn't go to Yelp on y'all, because I guess I had too many stomach cramps from your greasy pizza. Oh yeah, and I took pictures. Yes, it was a traumatizing experience. I took pictures. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, $50? $50. So think about that for a few moments. You paid $50 for a regular pizza and you couldn't eat more than a slice of it. Now think about that for a few moments. $50, got one damn slice of pizza and that's it. And didn't finish that. It's like, oh, this is terrible. Hell yeah, I ended up getting something else. Hell yeah, I ended up going to a real restaurant down there. I ended up going somewhere else. I'm just warning y'all, I know I named some places. If you do find yourself in one of those, this is the spot to avoid. Oh, New York pizza is great. Now, New York City is surprisingly consistent. It's hard to find a bad pizza place in New York City. You would think with such a colossal city that it would just be bad pizza places all over the place. New York is actually surprisingly consistent with its food. I guess because it's so damn expensive, you won't stay in business if your food is trash. New York City's pizza is consistently good. It practically almost, I'm not going to say 100% because it's not 100%, but it's practically always good in that regard. So New York is a different animal in that regard. Chicago, it's like, okay, stay away from downtown. At least in New York City, you have very good consistency. Very good consistency. I haven't seen that anywhere else. And you would think in a megalopolis like that, it would be hit or miss. And it actually isn't. It's actually pretty good consistently. So there's that. But yeah, if you do make that trip, just be careful. Be careful there. Watch out for it. No, like I say, look, I took my chances. I knew what I was getting into, or at least I should have known. And I was just like, man, hopefully this doesn't turn out to be terrible. It turned out to be terrible. So, but any other, I'm not saying don't get pizza in Chicago. I'm just saying don't go to this place. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't get around as much as I like to in some regards, because when I go places, I'm on business. I'm usually working and things like that. So when I do learn something, I try to tell y'all if I know something. So now you got that. Other than that, Chicago's cool. Getting out of the city can be a bit of a hassle. Cell phone service doesn't want to work when you get around the skyscrapers. But other than that, it's a beautiful place. But if you're looking for a come up, for young people and whatnot, those would be the three cities I would name for you: New York, Atlanta, Miami. That's where it's going to be. Miami's going to have a good long tail for it in the future. Although by the time it does that, it'll just be New York South. It's already overpriced. In 10 years, it will be hideously overpriced. And by that, I mean as overpriced as New York is. So that's what you're going to see. But if you're interested in new media and the internet and stuff like that, Miami is really the spot. I would put Atlanta second to Miami for that. New York overall is still the king of the mountain if you can afford it. But if you can't, and if I were young, if I were 18 or 19 years old and could do it, those would be the two places I'd go. Depending on what you're looking for. Of course, you won't be able to do that if you screw up your opportunities. And if you sit up here and get yourself put over a barrel, And just recognize those will be things that even if you do it, it's just going to be a lot more of a hassle. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch and quote and steal things from. The stuff they'll be talking about next week, you heard it here tonight. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you have not joined our Patreon, the link is in the description. We'll be doing it here tomorrow, 12 noon Central Time. Got a few things I need to discuss. So if you're a part of it, look forward to chopping it up with you all. I want to thank, I'm sorry, here, one more thing I was taking a look at here, by the way. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program. So for everyone here, Prince, and my list just went away. That wasn't very helpful. My list just disappeared. Okay, so I had the list up here, and now it's disappeared on me. But everyone who's contributed to tonight's program here on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Thank you to all of you tuning in live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business, or your business will handle you.